Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the Overcast. I am your host, Justin, aka Oversoul, and I am joined, like always, by my two co hosts, Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. I, I'm sorry.
I see what you did there.
Ugh.
That's, Nick and Brooksy. Although that
Hey,
wasn't the order
what's
reference, but
up? I know I see what you did there.
yes, yes. Some people say the only Mario and Luigi. I say I have no idea what they're talking about. Anyways, though, this episode, if the title didn't already give it away, this is episode 85, AI, the good, the bad, and the plagiarism. In this episode, we're going to talk about,
Yes.
well, as the title says, AI, the good, the bad, the plagiarism. And that'll be the topic discussion. But first, it's a normal formatted episode. We've got our life updates, and we got the topic, and we got the media corner. Life updates first and foremost. And I'm not using the wheel this time because Brooksy missed the last episode. So I'd like to hear from him first. He went on a little road trip and all that. So
Yeah,
let's.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I played a little bit of planes, trains, and automobiles last weekend, and
Hey.
hey, I traveled to the fine state of Mississippi. Um, my dad, he is a huge college football fan, as am I. We both grew up as huge Oklahoma Sooner fans, and throughout his time working at Fidelity Investments, came across some friends that all were Ole Miss alumni. And so he started going to Ole Miss games, fell in love with the world, the culture. It is infectious. I'm not going to lie. I've gone to Ole Miss football games. There is a Kool-Aid that is in the air, and I have drank it, and it's a lot of fun. So it
Those
became a
cyclones.
listen, I'm a boomer sooner till I'll die, but for my dad, I will hottie toddy it up, man. I really will. Um, so it's become a dream of his to have a house in Oxford, Mississippi, and he accomplished that earlier this year and built himself a house in Oxford, Mississippi. Um, so
Nice.
Sam and I, so he wanted Sam and I to come out and visit and everything else. Sam is not a sports ball fan, so trying to think of a time that would be great for us to come out, we landed on something called Double Decker Weekend, um, and it's this giant like music and art festival that happens in Oxford, Mississippi. So we went out. We flew out there. The flight itself was truthfully, terrible. It was truthfully terrible. Sorry for anyone that has seen me on camera for the bracket episode that we did, and who will see me in the future on more episodes. I'm not a small person, and I know I'm not a small person, and flying on a plane already gives me a lot of anxiety because there's small seats, and like I'm not a small person. So the seats that we normally get are the ones that are in the row that the like ejector window is at, because
Yeah.
it's usually just two seats instead of three, so I don't have to worry about a bonus person to the side that I gotta apologize to throughout the entire flight. I also get a little extra leg room, and so I sat there, and
You
as soon
also
as I
have to
sat
be willing
down,
and able.
yeah, and I'm always willing and able. Like I will eject this if need be. But like I sit down and I clip myself in, and run out of breath in the process of of doing that. Um, and so I just sit there, and there's a little like rail between Sam and I. We're not flying. We're some of the first few people that are on the plane. So I lift it up just to be a little bit more comfortable until we're about to fly. And Dina comes by
Oh
and
no.
yells at us. It was like, "You need to get that down now." And I'm like, whoa, girly pop, what is happening? It is 6 a.m. it's on a Thursday. Like, why are we yelling right now? Okay, all right, all right. So I put it down. She was like, also, you need to make sure that your belt clips the whole way. And I was like, this feels pretty fat phobic right now. I don't really
Yeah.
like the I don't like the cut of your
Fuck this
gin right now.
bitch.
Wow.
Yeah. So I look at her and I'm like, and I like pull it out and show her. I'm
The
like, yep, there it
audacity.
is. It's on. And she walks away, and then more people get on the plane. It's almost full, and she comes over and she was like, "Sir, do you have your seatbelt on?" To me, a second time, dude, a second time.
Wow.
Doesn't ask the couple on the other side or
Ooh.
anybody else in the area. Just me, who's a bit large and in charge. And so I did cop a bit of an attitude back, and I was like, "Yes, it magically has still stayed on. In case, do you want to pull on it just to be sure?" I'm not gonna lie, I was tired, man. I'd been up since 3:30 in the morning.
Dude,
And she like
yeah.
so that it the flight did not start off well. So much to the point that Sam did go full Karen mode and wrote a strongly written letter and sent that to Southwest. Um,
Oh,
so
Southwest, there's your problem right there.
yeah.
Like,
Well, we used to
Yep.
we've always flown Southwest because it was choose your own seat and you could have two free checked bags. They've gotten rid of both of those, so we're about to move over to like American or something else. Not Spirit though. RIP Spirit as of today of us recording this.
Yeah.
Um but so we get there, we get to Mississippi, and honestly, we had a great time, man. We had an awesome time. This actually kind of ties in with our episode of us talking about the good, the bad, and the plagiarism. Is my dad's best friend. His name is Aaron, and I will tell you, I've met all of my dad's friends for different reasons. I really like all of my dad's friends, but Aaron, man, Tony, if you hear this, I'm sorry, man. Aaron is my favorite out of my dad's friends. Like, I genuinely think he is the coolest guy. He is great to have a conversation with. We talked a lot about the mutual aid work that Sam and I do, and he was super on board with it. We
Nice.
had a lot of really good intellectual dialogue
Hell
conversations.
yeah.
And Sam and Aaron are essentially the same person, so it was really fun to see them interact with one another.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
but but Aaron, he enjoys AI. He looks at it as a necessary evil, and he works in tech. So in the world of tech, if you're not using AI, you're going to get left behind in today's society. But he likes to use AI for fun, and he does use
Oh.
AI. He does use AI generation, but he uses it where he has uses a bunch of tokens to make songs making fun of his friends.
Ah.
And then we'll spend extra tokens to make a music video that's AI generated to make him look kind of like his friends. And he did one that was like
That.
a birthday song for this woman named Meredith who's married to Tony, to celebrate her
Oh
birthday and everything.
no.
But it's hilarious, and I'm like, he was like, he doesn't post them publicly. He's not trying to make money off of it. He's doing it for stupid, fun, silly purposes. And for something like that, I'm like, I'm not pro generative AI, but this is pretty fucking hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but yeah, so we spent a lot of time with dad and his friends. Did all the things in Oxford that Oxford has to offer, which is mostly drinking,
Mhm.
and had a great time doing that. The festival itself, music was awesome. I came across a artist while I was there that
Oh.
for anyone that is listening to this, I will tell you, um, I really strongly recommend this artist. You can find them on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok, on all the different platforms.
Okay.
His studio is called Chicken Fried Folk Art,
mm,
and
Huh.
his art style is very classic southern. It's almost like a combination of like New Orleans style art and Appalachia art. And it's very abrasive, like neon bright colors, and they don't on paper
Ooh.
normally would go together. And I bought this painting, and I think I sent it to you guys in the group chat where it's a giant yellow skull with like a green aura around it and all of this like
Yeah.
blue and red ribbon all around it and a black and white on the frame, and it like none of those colors go together, but it just, and it's very loud to look at, but I love it. I genuinely love it. I've named her Charlene, and my dad actually shipped Charlene to me, so I didn't have to carry it on the plane back home. Um, and
Is
Charlene's going to
the
be in my house on Wednesday or
what was her
Thursday next week.
Instagram handle?
I believe it's chicken fried folk art. I've he and I are following each other on Instagram now. Let me check right now. Yeah, we're buddies. Yeah, it's literally all
Here
one
it is.
word: chicken fried folk art. Um, I the dude's name is Chris, who is the artist.
That's so
Super cool
cool.
guy. Genuinely
Yeah.
super cool guy.
Make
Love
sure
his art.
make sure you spell that correctly, because if you accidentally put in chicken fried fuck art, you'll get something else.
I'm sure you will. Yeah, but I don't know, man. There's something about his style that's it's very appealing to me personally, and I just think it's just super rad. And he also, all of his stuff is original handmade art. He does all the woodworking himself. Like it's really cool, and he out of so many different artists that exist out there, it's a really fair price. Like a really, really fair price. Like I normally buy prints of art. I never buy originals, but I bought an original from him, and
That's
I'm actually having him
awesome.
commission another piece for me because the original one that I saw that I really wanted ended up selling
Uh-huh.
out. But then I saw the skull one when I came back later that I didn't see, and I fell in love with it as well. But he and I are talking, and the piece that he sold, he's going to commission one similar to me, but do a bunch of cool extra things to it, and I'm really excited about it.
He's not gonna tell you what it is. He's just gonna let it be a surprise.
No, 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 no. It's like it was this art that he had. It was like a 3D, like it was like a painting, but he had wood on top of it that made it look like it was coming out of the painting, and it was a devil.
Nice.
It was a devil in this black and neon pink cheetah suit, and it
Ooh.
just like sharp dressed devil, like really cool looking. And he has an idea where he has like a carcass of a fiddle that he wanted to put that inside of,
Oh,
and I'm
that's
like, dude, that
awesome.
sounds so cool. So
That sounds
I was like,
sick.
yeah, sign me up, dude. So like he and I have already connected. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, we had a lot of good food. Went to my
I
dad's
just
favorite
went and
staple
followed him.
places. What's up?
I just went and followed him.
Hell yeah, dude. No, he's super awesome guy. We did that, had a lot of good food. Went to my dad's favorite place called Proud Larry's, which weird to think in Oxford, Mississippi, coming across a bar that has pride flags and trans flags inside of it in the heart of Mississippi. Like, I was like, good for you, Oxford. This is
That's
actually kind of
awesome.
sick.
That's
And they do
awesome.
have they have the best catfish sandwich I've had in forever. So,
I love
um,
catfish.
dude, it was just good times. It was good hangs. Sam had a great
So
time. She's excited to come back and hang out with Aaron and Dad and everybody again. So that was like the big thing. Outside of that, just playing a bunch of games. I'll be talking about a full review for one of them in this episode, but otherwise, I'm two-thirds of the way through Mouse PI for Hire. Really enjoying that, and I just picked up Saros a couple days ago. And I'm normally not a roguelite person or a shooter person. I love this game, man. It's it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, I really just wanted to talk about that Mississippi trip, man. It was awesome.
nice. Hell yeah.
I talked. I know you weren't here, Brooksy, but I talked a bit about Mouse PI for Hire in the last
Yeah.
episode, and I haven't played any of it since. But like the highlights were basically I love the animation style, and I love that if you
Yep.
play it on easy, you're basically invincible. The amount of health packs and armor they give me is
Oh,
ridiculous. So
yeah, I'm playing it on regular, and like I think I've died like 3 or 4 times. Like I love the art style. I love the humor. I do laugh at IGN's review of them saying too many cheese puns because dear God, there are so many cheese puns, and they only get stronger as the game continues on. But
Kinda wanna play this.
dude, I'm a sucker for a good dad joke, and
Oh, me
it's
too.
It's like just really cheesy cheese jokes the entire
There
time,
are
dude.
there are
This is a
some
game
great
I'd wanna this is a game I'd wanna play on the Nintendo Switch too.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it runs so. I played it flying there and back on the Steam Deck, and it like 45 frames per second. Played super
yeah.
well. Like loved it.
Yeah,
Hell
I'm
yeah.
playing it on the PS5, but I can see how it would be a good handheld game, honestly.
Yeah,
Like
it
as
is.
um but yeah, stuff like the cheese sticks instead of cigarettes, stuff like that. Instead of bootleggers, they're
Oh
cheese
my god.
leggers.
Yep.
Um but on that note, I haven't played that since then, but I have still been chipping away slowly at Pragmata. I am taking it kind of slow. I do take advantage every time I see one of those hatches to go back and upgrade my stuff before I continue.
Oh yeah.
Uh I've found like a couple of different holograms of Earth stuff for Diana to play
Diana.
with. Yeah. And that's cool, and I've upgraded my cabin a bit, like, I met the robot guy and is like, "Your cabin's upgraded
Oh,
now."
dude,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
I've got and just so y'all know, I'm gonna be talking about Pragmata today in my official review. I did roll credits on it, and I got
Hell
oh man,
yeah.
That
I got a lot to
I'm
say, man.
excited. I'm
that,
excited.
that robot feels a lot like a Pixar character to me.
Oh, dude, Diana
Ye
needs to be protected at all costs,
No,
like
not
at
her, not
all
not her. I
costs.
mean, I agree with
Oh,
that, but no, but the robot that when you upgrade your cabin that shows up,
yeah,
the
yeah,
the
yeah,
one
yeah.
that's basically got a smartphone for a face, like, that.
Yes.
Yes. He feels like a Pixar character. But yeah, no, the game is really good so far. I'm excited to hear your thoughts about it. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to take your spotlight on that one, but yeah,
Oh, you're good.
Mouse is great. Still slowly chipping away at Yakuza 0. I got lost for a bit
Oh,
early on in chapter 2 and I had to look up a
yes.
guide because it's the part where you're trying to find the business that's being taken over by the people and there's no marker on the map to tell you where those conversations you need to eavesdrop are on. So I was running around blindly for a long time until I finally said, "Okay, I'm like 6 hours in and still in chapter 2. I need to fucking like I need to
Yeah.
I need to look this up because I'm gonna just get the amount of fucking side quests that I ran into while I was looking for that though,
Oh,
absolutely
dude.
insane. Like
Dude, I
like
think I had
like
100 hours
helping
in that game because there's so many
helping
side
the
quests.
like getting the one girl off the streets that was like selling her underwear because like she's just a
Mhm.
school kid and like you can't be doing that. Fucking the cop that asks to see your items every time you pass him, the guy selling mushrooms, but they're just normal mushrooms. Like that one was funny. Um the
I
the one
forgot.
the one
Oh, I
where you
forgot, dude. I love that game so much.
the one where you help the wussy band pretend to be tough, and
Yep.
the one
Yep.
where you teach the shy girl to be a dominatrix. I've run into all those by
Oh,
Oh,
accident.
dude, that is the dominate. That's a iconic. That's an iconic
That
mission,
was
dude.
probably the cringiest and most awkward thing I've seen in the game so
It's
far. Like the dialogue.
it's that is Yakuza, bro. Like that. Like oh, dude, I
Oh,
love the franchise. Zero is my favorite. You actually inspired me because uh Sega slash Atlas slash RGG, they're doing like a big Steam sale right now. I don't know if it's on PlayStation as well, but they had the director's cut on sale for like $20 or something like that, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, I really want to get back into this, and I also want to hear what the dubbed voice sounds like. I'm impressed. I've only got like an hour in. I'm impressed so far.
yeah, I told
But
you
it
it wasn't that bad. Dubs are
yeah,
usually really bad. If it's the NPCs, like the side characters on the street and stuff, what
like
suck.
super hardcore anime style. Like yeah,
Yeah, that stuff's very goofy. That leaks through, but, like, the main characters, I think they do a good enough job. I have to say,
yeah.
Young Ye and David Hayter take their roles very seriously, and so I am really, really bad at the mini games in this for some reason. I can't fish for shit. I tried the disco dancing and I fucked up so much of it. For some
Oh,
reason, the mini games,
yeah.
whatever it require, and I'm usually really good at QTEs and stuff, but something in my brain just isn't clicking with these mini games. With that, it's
what
like
about
the game
even the
is, it's like
karaoke?
it's moving too fast for me. The karaoke I can handle, but barely.
Mm,
It's like a rhythm game on steroids, even on easy. Like it's very
yeah,
fast and there's a lot of
yeah.
buttons.
Oh, I
Um
love it. Oh, I love the karaoke game so much.
no, the karaoke is about the extent of what I can handle. The rest of that, I think I'm good on, but it's like I'm also like a lot of people say that like beast mode is like the best fighting style, but for my play style, I think I'm kind of sticking with the default, like the fast-paced one where you hit the triangle button to do finishing moves. That one's the most satisfying for me. Beast is too slow. I don't like heavy and slow. It's not for me.
Uh,
Like, I'm more of like a, like if my choice is between like a sword and shield warrior or a two-handed tank, I'm taking the sword and shield guy. You know what I mean?
see, I'm a
Like,
two-handed tank, so like
no,
I play in the other format, but I don't know.
no.
I'm just so happy you're playing Yakuza right now, dude, because it's so weird and it's so out there, and I have such a deep love for the franchise, and Yakuza 0, like, you don't need to play any of the other ones, and for me it is the best of the entire franchise, like, and it's dude, it's just so good. It's just so good. I'm so happy to be back in that world too.
Only other thing for me is I finally watched and finished season 5 of Stranger Things. Like I finally finished it and
Oh, I'm so glad you finally finished it.
I would give the whole season like a 7.5 out of 10, I would
Oh,
say. Maybe.
okay.
I could maybe be argued into an 8. It's just there is there is a lot of stuff I really like about the season, but there's also some stuff I really don't like. Um and I'd be willing to get into a more in-depth discussion about it sometime down the line, but it is I didn't think that the finale was bad though. That they I do think that they got a little wishy-washy with it, that they didn't have the
Yeah.
balls to kinda stick with their choices. They kinda went with an ambiguous make everyone happy ending, and it kinda loses some of its emotional impact the way they did it,
Yeah.
but overall, there was some great stuff in there, and I actually cried a couple times, I'm not gonna lie. There was some
Dude,
emotional scenes, so
uh, uh, I such an emotional show.
and some pretty decent violence in this one too. Not as much as
Yeah.
season 4, but,
How
um,
about Vecna's fucking final form?
yeah.
Dude,
But,
dude,
yeah,
fuck.
some of those final showdowns were maybe a little too CGI-y for my taste. They felt a bit more practical in previous seasons, but
Yeah,
overall though, I didn't hate it. Like it's on the good side of the scale. It's not a 5 or lower, so,
fair.
so I yeah, and then of course I am all caught up on The Boys right now. The season is like a little over half over. I'm guessing if it's going to be 8 episodes, they're 5 in. Um and shit's got crazy and we've been promised even more death before the season's over, so that's fun. So
Yeah,
um I will say though, season 4 of Invincible is still better, and I'll die on that hill. But at this point, I'm not sure how much better. The season is a little up and down for me, more up than down. The most recent episode really brought it back for me. The one before that was kind of middling, but the most recent episode was like a 9 out of 10 on its own, honestly,
nice. Hell
in my
yeah.
opinion. And maybe it's just because I'm a fan of Supernatural and there was a bit of fan service in there for me, but it's and I'm also a fan of all the cameos, but it's honestly overall one of the better episodes of the entire season, quite
Oh, I
frankly.
would agree with you entirely on that.
Yeah.
And Sam is like a big diehard Supernatural fan, so this last episode, oh, she was
Yeah.
freaking out about it.
I
It was, dude.
love Supernatural.
I would say episode 5 is my favorite so far this
I
season.
will say this because it's not really a spoiler to the show or anything, and we already knew, like, it's been public information that Jared Padalecki was gonna be in this season, and everyone was excited because he's like, "Oh, Sam and Dean reunion," and, um
This is
because Jensen Ackles plays Soldier Boy. Well, Jared plays a character called Mr. Marathon, who was a speedster, and he was in the comics. So the whole thing from the first season with the airplane when Homelander like I let that plane go down. You can probably see why they didn't do it this way in the show, but in the comics, that whole thing actually happened when they were trying to stop one of the planes that caused 9/11, and they failed at their job. And Mr.
Oh.
Marathon was the speedster that was there before A Train, and it is canonical in the show that A Train replaced him too for the 7, but in the comics, that's where Mr. Marathon dies. He dies while riding on the back of Homelander in the air because Homelander, I forgot what it was that he does, but there's something he does to try and stop the plane. I think he just like bullets through it and breaks it in half, but Mr. Marathon dies in the process while he's riding on Homelander as
Jesus
he breaks the
Christ.
plane. Yeah. So that was one of the things from the comics that they adapted in the show, but also completely changed at the same time, you know?
Yeah, fair.
They completely recontextualized that whole thing. But, um but yeah, that's more or less what I've been up to. Speaking of The Boys, Nick, I know you've been watching that too.
Yeah,
What
I
else?
recently started watching the season 5 of The Boys. I guess that also means have since finished season 2 of Gen V.
Nice.
Dude,
Yeah,
it
the
was
final
so
showdown in
oh
that
my
season was
god.
crazy.
It was. My god. No, but uh wedding stuff update. So we have started sending out invitations. We've gotten some RSVPs back. The way we're doing the way we're doing seating is and we were initially going to do uh we were initially going to do the colors for for the Hogwarts houses, but the number of tables wasn't mathing. So what we're doing is we're on the invites, we have one word that uh, attributes to each Hogwarts house. When you select that, that solidifies your RSVP. And Sarah's mom is making these coasters for that has the Hogwarts house crests on it that will be at your seat or will be at your seat when I'm not sure how those will be distributed, but you will get a coaster with your
Oh,
Hogwarts house.
nice.
Yeah.
But we met with our officiator, um, who also happens to be the dungeon master for my D&D campaign. Uh, Last night we went out to dinner with him. He met us at we went out to dinner and he met us there at the local Popeyes. I had the new one piece meal that they have going.
Nice.
Um,
How was that?
it was dude, the gum fruit drink was so good.
Nice.
It
Okay.
was
Okay.
go. I wasn't sure how it was because I legitimately I went up to the counter. I'm like, question, what is the gum fruit? I know because I'm not huge into the anime. I watched the first season of the live action. Have not watched the second season yet. So I didn't know
It's too
what the
late to
gum
get into
gum
the anime. That shit's like 1,000 episodes at
dude,
this
I
point.
know.
It
That's too intimidating. I will watch the live action as but
Speaking
it
of, by the way,
didn't know.
My Hero
It was
Academia's final season just ended. So, like, if you
oh,
ever wanted to
perfect.
get back into
Oh.
that, it's now yeah, they're
Fuck
done
yeah.
now. There
Hell
is a
yeah.
there is a spin-off show, but it doesn't matter. The main show is done. So,
Fair. Okay. What I was saying, and no, it was good. But we met we went over the wedding stuff. Um we're I think we're
oh
gonna
wait,
do like a
what did that drink taste like, by the way? I was waiting
so
to hear that.
okay, so
Sorry.
so the extra It had a few different extracts. It had pineapple extract. I forget it had I
Okay.
forget what that's the one that really stood out. I don't remember what the other ones were. That's the one that really stood out there. So, and I didn't know how I was gonna feel about it
It's very
because
purple, so pineapple's a weird
it's
flavor for a purple
right. That's
drink.
what I was like,
Hmm.
dude, it tasted like
Sounds like something I'd like, to be honest, though. I like
you
Yeah,
would like
tropical. I
it.
love tropical
You
flavors.
I do
oh,
too.
you would love it. It tasted like a passion fruit mixed with the dragon fruit.
Ooh, those are good
Ooh.
flavors.
Oh, it was
Um,
so good. It
I
was
see the
so
name of
good.
that I see the name of that drink and I think of the Tiki Island head from Night at the
Gum
Museum.
gum, you give me gum. Dum dum, you give me gum gum.
Yep.
Nice, nice.
Me, you no dum dum. Give me gum gum.
So what else is up?
But no, I think we're gonna try and do incorporate Willow into the ceremony and by doing like a um oh, what's the word that he used? A union ceremony.
Okay.
Like with because when Sarah and I went to her cousin's wedding, they did something with her with her daughters, his daughters. I don't know, uh, but they did like something with like a keepsake that has like sand, and I think we're gonna do something like that with our Hogwarts colors. I'm a Gryffindor. Sarah's a Slytherin. Wild combination, right?
I mean,
um, and Willow, I think is I don't. I'd have to. I have to have that conversation with her. Like, what does she? I'll have to go through and do the Hogwarts house test with her to
if
see
I
what how she gets sorted into.
hmm, if you had to guess just based off how well you know your daughter, what would you
Hufflepuff.
I felt like you were going to say that for some reason.
Hufflepuff. I think she's a Hufflepuff.
A Hufflepuff with some Slytherin tendencies, maybe.
Yeah, so she has recent speaking of Willow, she had career day at school yesterday and she chose because the kids had the option to dress up what they want to be as when they grow up. Willow is um following in Sarah's footsteps.
Oh,
She wants to be a mail carrier when she grows up. And honestly,
Okay,
I
hell
can't be
yeah.
mad at it. I can't be mad at it.
Hell yeah.
I can't be mad. So what Sarah did is she got on Amazon uh Thursday night and found a little mail carrier costume for kids that would be delivered to Sarah's mom's house by 8 a.m. And it was there before I even took Willow over there before school.
I wasn't allowed to go to the career days at schools when I was a kid because once
No.
I showed up for one of them dressed as the Grim Reaper, and they were
Ah,
like, "What are you
Oh
doing?" I'm like,
no.
I want to be the I want to be the Grim Reaper when I grow up. What's so wrong with that?
that's
Yeah.
I'm
Position
harvesting
fantastic.
souls.
filled.
Anyways, though,
Someone grew up watching Courage the Cowardly Dog.
I think you mean the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I watched all of that, but
Yeah.
Oh god, I love the
uh,
Grim Adventures of Billy and
yes,
Mandy.
I've always just liked the Grim Reaper as a character. Also, that story is not true. I just wanted to say something funny. But I I say then, with all that in mind, that we go ahead and transition into the topic.
Yeah.
I'm here
Have a
for
good
it.
time for that.
Let's fucking go.
Let's
All right.
go.
All right, everybody, here we are at this episode's topic, AI, the good, the bad, and the plagiarism, where, as the title would
Yeah.
indicate, we're going to talk about all the aspects of it. It controls our lives now, basically. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's in places that it should be, in places that it shouldn't be. And I'd like to talk about all of that. Like, to sandwich this a bit, I actually want to start with the good, because I wanna I most of what you're gonna hear about it a lot of places is the bad,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a lot of that has been talked about even on this show previously, and we'll get to it here
Mhm.
too soon. I mean, the most generic statement that I could possibly make is that the one very specific bad AI thing, like really bad, is the generative AI shit when people are using it to make quote unquote art from scratch, because
Yeah.
it's just theft at that point. And also lazy. But there are other bad things, but that's like the main, like my main thing. As long as you're not using it for that, then it's
Yeah.
more of a gray area. But that specifically is where I draw the line. Um,
Th
but
there is
yes.
something that I would like to touch on real quick because I was actually able to buy something for Willow, that is technically considered AI. It is a storybook, and Willow is the star of said book.
Oh, I remember you talking about this before. I do remember you've mentioned this before. You got the book,
Yeah,
and it
it's
makes her the main character
yeah, it's the
of the
she's the
story.
main character. It's the fuck. Hold on.
And it's like it's a picture book, right?
It's a picture book. Yeah, it has a story to it, and the magic story. That's right, magic story. So the storybook that I got for Willow is called The Emotion Emporium, and I went with this one because it inspires imagination, emotional growth, and self discovery, but it also gave me very inside out vibes.
Okay.
But no, all I did was upload a picture of Willow to the site. They are very, very clear on the privacy of the photos that are uploaded, because that is something that I did take into consideration when doing this. But I did some extensive research on it, and it is very reputable and trusted. For anyone out there as that is a parent that wants to do this for their kid, it's called Magic Story, and you can go to magicstory.com. And yeah, no, they've got plenty of stories that you can actually turn into a physical storybook, whether it be a soft cover or a hard cover. They even have like actual like music in the app, specific for each story that they have
Oh,
that
nice.
you can yeah, it's really freaking cool.
Well, so in that case, I would say, at least in the case of Willow being in the book, you fed it the information to generate that in that case. So it's not
Correct.
technically, it's at least in the case of her character model, it's not stolen because you willingly gave it.
Yeah.
I would question though what all the backgrounds are made out of, though, where they stole that from. But it still
Yeah.
sounds like a cute idea. See, that's one of those
It
ones
is.
I consider to be in that gray area. There are a few exceptions for me. I feel like if you want to use it to enhance something that you created, then it's not theft because it's your creation.
Yeah.
Now, if you're using it to create something from scratch because generative
That
AI can't do that,
nope.
then most
Sure
of most
cannot.
most of what it's doing is just taking shit that already exists and Frankenstein stitching it together into something quote unquote new, but
Mhm.
it's made up of stolen parts. But like for example, the Christmas episode that we had last year, I used AI to take our already existing podcast artwork that I handmade myself, and I fed it into the AI and I said, "Take this and make it Christmas." And that's what it did. And I'm like, cool. That I
Hell
think
yeah.
that is okay because I gave it the permission to change my thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like in that
Yeah.
case, and maybe some of the Christmassy stuff was taken from other places, but honestly, it just looked like a lot of stock photos. So that's not so like it looked like stock images, like generic Christmas tree and wreaths and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. I was actually surprised if you actually go back and look at that thumbnail. I was surprised at actually how much it thought to do. Like it put sprinkles of snow on the ground and gave the
It
ground
did.
a reflective surface to make it stand out
Uh-huh.
more. It put a fucking Santa hat on the PlayStation controller. Like
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, it actually put some thought into this.
Yeah.
But if I told it to do that from scratch, then I would have been stealing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But since
Mhm.
I fed it my own thing, it's more of a gray area. So,
Yeah.
that's more or less
Make
my
it
thoughts
Christmas.
on that, and we'll get more into that part later, but like I said, I wanna focus on the good first. Can we think of
Yeah.
any examples where AI is actually being used for genuine good?
Um, Brooksy,
I
do you wanna handle this one?
I hear there are
You know what?
there's some medical stuff.
I'm gonna give a few actually. I think it is very unsurprising for anyone listening that has listened to me talk about AI in the past that I mega loathe AI to its absolute core. I'm terrified of it. I do understand as much as one can without a technical background what AI is and what AI does, just from talking to a lot of software engineers and everything else. There are some good aspects to it. On a personal level, I'm going to share two. One, I do not see any personal moral issues when it comes to using AI in video games specifically for frame generation.
Oh,
And I say that
to, like, help with the frame
very
rate?
essentially, yes. Like there is, our technology can only do things so far, and what essentially frame generation does whenever you have like an NVIDIA or AMD GPU and you turn on frame generation is it essentially will take your normal 60 frames per second and in between, the first two frames, it essentially guesses what the next movement is going to be in between those two frames and
Mhm.
generates it at like a nano speed, like a unbelievably high speed where it will take something that, let's say, I'll use Crimson Desert as an example. When I play Crimson Desert on my PC and I have it on ultra settings across the board and I don't have frame generation or upscaling or anything like that on, I clock at about 60 frames per second, which is
Okay.
solid,
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
solid. There is, for me personally, just because I care so much about frame rates and I stare at a screen a lot, I personally can tell the difference between 60 frames and 120 frames, and I can tell the difference between 120 frames and 240 frames. Um, Anything past that, like, and if it's like a 30 frame difference between like 200 and 240, I can't tell the difference. Um, but if I'm playing it at 60 frames and I turn on frame generation onto it, and it goes from 60 to 160, like it is a noticeably big difference, and it's not creating new art, it is just smoothing out the art that already exists. And for something like that, i'm personally I'm personally okay with that. um on the other aspect of AI is using it as a tool to learn. And I want to be very careful when I say to learn, not to do for me, but to
Yeah.
be able to use it as an educational tool,
Yeah.
um, is beneficial. And I have used it very sparingly since I moved away from Windows to Linux. I moved away from, and the irony of that is that I moved away from Windows not only because I hate Microsoft as a company, but because it's so heavily, deeply embedded and rooted in AI with Copilot and all this other just random crap happening in the background that I don't want. And I
Right.
moved to Linux to get away from AI, but I have used AI to learn how to do specific things in Linux because it's not as cookie cutter straightforward as Windows, where it's very plug and play. You have to use a terminal. You have to do not coding, but like specific commands to be able to do different things. Um,
I have programs, because I'm on Windows 11. I have programs on my
yeah,
computer I've downloaded, um, like game boosters and registry tweaks and stuff that are specifically designed to turn a lot of that background crap off and make Windows run faster. And it does
yeah,
work. It does work for a while, but eventually you have to like do it again because that shit it slowly comes creeping back after a bit.
yeah. It's
And it's
as they do soft updates, it like
yep.
returns
And
shit
every
back
time
on.
there's a Windows update, it all
Mhm.
turns back on too. And like
Yeah,
if I don't run those programs when I'm trying to do intensive things like editing or something, like
yeah,
it'll just lag, like all that
yeah.
shit slows the whole system down. So
But I'll primarily like if I'm trying to learn how to do specific like execute specific commands, I want my Linux to do certain specific things. I will utilize initially Reddit and different chats to be able to understand how to be able to do it. And if I can't wrap my head around on it, I can literally copy and paste it into something like Claude and be like, "Hey, I'm trying to do this. I'm not really quite grasping it. Can you help explain it to me as if you're talking to someone that has never executed anything in a terminal on Linux OS before?" And it'll give me very specific instructions and details on how to do things and not just say do this, do this, do this, do this, but explain the why you do it behind it. For a learning tool, I see positive outcome from it. And it's something that like
Yeah.
I won't be like, hey, chat, do this for me and just have it just spit it out for me because that's how we devolve as a society. But
Yep.
using it as an educational tool to be able to further advance my own personal knowledge, that is something
yeah.
that very sparingly I will use. So, in those two regards, but as you just brought up, Justin, there are a lot of great things that have come through the medical field,
Oh,
specifically with AI.
before you get there, since you brought up video
Yeah,
games, I did just want to say AI has always been a necessary component of video games in general, because I know these days when you hear AI and people immediately think of like chatbots and AI generated art and stuff. But
yeah,
AI is also um
NPCs.
NPCs in video games. It's artificial intelligence. AI is the programming in those characters that makes them walk around and do things without player input, and
Yeah.
talk. And obviously, that's always been necessary. The whole premise of Alien Isolation is built around the alien. Like when they program the game, they put an AI in it that is programmed to literally seek out and kill the player at any cost.
Oh,
Like it is it is terrifying because and it's one of those dystopian things to me because I always thought when I first heard that and look at where we are now, when I first heard that, I was like, "Damn, that's terrifying." They basically programmed the alien in that game that if it was somehow able to leave the game, you'd be fucked. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like that's a genuine, like, real AI computer program whose only goal is destroy the fleshy thing. Like, that's fucked up. And
Yeah.
that's one of the few horror games I've never really been able to fully play because it's too hard. It's too hard. That alien is relentless. It is difficult. And the way it works too, because it learns. And like this game was way ahead of its time with this shit because the AI they built into it the things that you do to hide from it to get around it, like hiding in lockers or under tables and shit, or like throwing noisemakers or all that, it learns the things that you've done and then knows to start looking in places that you've hid before and stuff. And what's crazy is that the way it's programmed, it actually knows exactly where you are at all times. So whether you're hiding in a locker or not, it's kind of based on luck whether or not it'll open it and find you because it's
Right.
programmed to, so it's fucking intense. Um, but that's always been a part of and that stuff is brilliant. That's kind of the thing that like, yeah, do more of that. What I don't want to see in video games is AI generated art and AI voice acting. That's
agreed.
there is no
That
reality where that's okay. That one of the
Agreed.
things
no.
that makes Mouse PI for Hire so great is that all of the characters are hand drawn with human fleshy hands,
Oh, they're
you know?
so
Good.
so good.
Yes.
It's so good.
No AI, nothing AI generated in that game. They painstakingly worked on all of that, and it's so like, yeah, the fucking juxtaposition between the rubber hose 2D animated characters on the like 3D environments. It's, you know, it gives a little Final Fantasy VII with the cartoon characters standing out against the like hand painted backgrounds, you know.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yes, continue with what
I
you were gonna say
blame
about
Disney
what's that?
for AI. I blame Disney for how AI came to be.
Oh, I
Really?
Do
don't.
y'all remember of the fucking Disney Channel original movie Smart House?
Oh, I
Oh,
I mean, if
I
you're gonna
guess I was like,
if
I'm
you're
going
gonna
with Peter Thiel. Fuck that guy.
right, no, if you're gonna blame that, then you have to blame every story ever that predicted future technology. You know what I mean?
That
Then
yeah,
Terminator.
you have to blame
that's the
Terminator,
earliest one
Back
I
to the
remember
Future,
though.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minority Report. Um,
Yeah.
but you were gonna say though, I'm assuming you were about to get into
Oh,
the medical good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a and before I start, are there any other positive points? Because I feel like it'll be a good. My point's going to be a good segue from the good into the bad because it's kind of a double-edged sword.
I mean,
Uh
I'm sure there are, but not
I
not
don't
not that I can think of at the moment. So,
Okay, cool. Um, no, but what I was going to say about with the good aspects and looking at something like the medical field.
oh wait, there is
Um,
one actually. There is
mm,
one, and I think it's something that you and I have both done. Actually, I think we've said so. You know, sometimes when I write things out, like okay, like my top 10, the script for my top 10 games of the year video last year, for
oh
example.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
when I write those things out, the way that I get my thoughts out isn't always like the most coherent. I have the autism info dumping thing, and I find
Mhm.
Yeah.
sometimes I want that stuff to sound more professional. So I will actually like get all my thoughts out using speech to text on the notes app on my phone, and then I
Yeah.
will feed it into Chat GPT, and I will tell it, do not change anything I said. I need my tone to come through exactly as it was, like, keep the whole premise of everything I said, don't rewrite this, just make it sound more professional, basically, edit
Yeah.
it a little bit, and the way that it came out, I thought was really good, and I think that that is good for people that, like, if you're trying to send a more professional sounding email, as long as you're not having it generate it from scratch, as long as you're putting in the work to, like, write it all up yourself first, and then you send it to it and say, "Just edit this for me," it's to me no different than, like, an English teacher going through and proofreading your paper, you know what I mean? And then like giving you suggestions for what to put instead. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think that can be helpful, because it could help people, especially people with disabilities, communicate better what they're trying to say
Yeah.
sometimes too. Because it helps, like, because some people can be so judgy about the way you word things, and if
Yeah.
so, I think Brooksy, I think you've said you've used this a couple times for emails, make them spice them
Yeah,
up a little.
yeah, yeah, I have because I mean, again, I do staffing and recruiting, and at the end of the day, as much as I try to not treat it like a sales position, I treat it as I'm trying to help cool companies have cool people and help cool people have a better life. Like that's the way I frame it in my head. At the end of the day, it is still sales, so I do have to reach out to businesses that I would want to work with and leave them a crappy cold call, voicemail, and email and all of that stuff. And I'll
Right.
write out. Essentially, what I'll do is I'll write out like 2 or 3 different templates, and I'll ask it to have a better framework for it, but still maintain my tone, and then I'll ask it
Exactly.
for like,
Yeah.
and I'll essentially be like, awesome. Now, can you help me also make, essentially like 2 or 3 versions of this that are relatively similar, just so that way I'm not sending the exact same email over and over. There's a few that I can
Yes.
send out. I don't do it very frequently just because I try to I always think about the environmental impact that AI has on our planet.
Yeah.
And because, depending on how aggressive a search is, if it's a really technical search, a vibe code or something like that, one question can use an entire bottle's worth of water. And you have to think about the
Yes.
millions of
Yeah.
millions and millions of questions that are asked on a daily basis, how much water we're going through, and it has to use fresh water. So it's, I try to be conscious of that.
Sparing of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
at the I think
It's
the idea is that, once you've done it enough times, you see how it rewrites it, and you get this feel
yeah,
for eventually you develop that skill yourself, and then you don't need it anymore, is what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah. I
And
will I will say I
Yeah.
used it really heavily when I very first started with the firm I'm with now.
yeah.
Um, I don't think I've used it in a couple of months just because I've got my own ideas and I've gotten a lot better with writing emails over the past couple of years as well. So,
Right. And
um,
it
you
I
know,
mean, if you write it yourself first and then just have it trim it, like spice it up a
yeah,
bit for you, then it
yeah,
it doesn't it actually sounds like a person wrote it because they did,
yeah,
and that's what
yeah.
matters, because
Essentially,
if you tell it to do it from scratch, then it's gonna sound like AI slop.
yeah.
But if
I
you
essentially
if
just
you
wanted
write
to
it
fix
first,
any.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I essentially just wanted to fix any grammatical errors that I have and have it flow a little bit better. Like that's
Yep.
really,
Yep.
I
That's
don't want it to sound
basically
Yeah.
like a
exactly what
12-year-old
I
wrote this. I want this to sound like a smart 20-year-old wrote this. Like that's,
yes.
that's essentially what I'm trying to
That's
have
that's
it
exactly
do.
That's exactly what the motivation was for the top 10 video script, and
Yeah,
when you watch it, when you listen to it, if you go back, like, you can't even tell that AI was involved at all in helping with the script,
yeah,
because it is all my words, it is all the stuff. It kept everything that I said in my original script,
yeah,
it just rearranged it to sound better, you know?
yeah,
And maybe replaced a word or two here and there with a more intelligent word, but that's
yeah,
like
Mhm.
with a more esoteric word. But that's what I was going for anyways. So like that helps me
yeah,
because, you can sometimes trim like three words down to one if you know that right word that gets the meaning across of what you're trying to say. And that helps a
yeah,
lot with the like you said, the flow. Um and it also helps, the way that you read it too, and
yeah,
the way I narrated it, it comes across with that passion, and you can tell these are actually my thoughts, you know.
yeah.
I just but it also but I'm also saying these thoughts in a way that sounds like I know what the fuck I'm talking about,
Right.
which is
Yeah,
what
Yeah.
exactly.
matters. So,
So
but yes, that was my last on the positive. You have the medical stuff.
yeah, and before I even get into the medical stuff, one other thing that just came to mind, and this feels a bit like a double-edged sword, is that we're about to get into the bad of AI, but one of the bad things is that it's made being hired a lot more difficult
Yeah.
because recruiters and HR are not spending nearly as much time as they used to looking at resumes. Statistically, the average person in HR, the average internal recruiter, looks at a resume for no more than 4 seconds because they receive so many, and they're just kind of relying on AI to rank things. But a positive thing to be able to use AI because of other companies using AI is to essentially play at their own game and take your resume and be able to copy and paste it into something like Claude and say, hey, can you optimize this for a ATS system, or which is a silly statement. ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System. It's what when you apply online, it goes into this database thing, and AI will essentially scan your resume, and based off of the amount of buzzwords that are in it, will rank you compared to everybody else that is applying and put the more higher priority people at the top of the list, people that have less buzzwords at the bottom. So you can ask AI to optimize it for an ATS, and it will add in the buzzwords that are required for a job to make it, as long as you actually have something similar on your resume,
Yeah.
it'll help bump you to the top of the list for recruiters or HR to look at. So there's, you can fight AI with AI. So there's good that comes from it. to a degree in that aspect. But the last point that I wanted to make on the medical aspect is there's a lot of really incredible advancements that we've made in biotech, in med device, in pharma, of being able to crack codes on new chemical formulations to be able to help people's health in the future. Um, there's also there's a medical device group that I work with that they work in implantable devices. So they're things that you would have surgery that would be put inside of your body. And there's one company I work with that they do things for like knees and hips and things like that. And they
Uh,
will be able to add in this device that essentially tracks and monitors your flexibility and your movement in your knee to be able to see where the main pain points are for the surgeon to be able to, after a few months worth of data that the AI has collected and has been able to assess what's going on, figure out what is the main critical point in that person's knee to specifically repair to be able to have them have a healthier and more successful surgery. And in those aspects, like that's really cool and that's really exciting. That's bleeding,
yeah.
cutting edge. Like those kind of things are so incredible. That being said,
Yeah.
there's a double-edged sword that comes along with it of there's so many different bad things we can talk about AI, and the first one is the removal of humans in the workforce for so many different things, where you have scientists that have spent and dedicated 20 years in school specifically to be able to help solve the next cure of whatever it may be. And because AI is now being so much more heavily utilized, there's a huge scale down in so many different industries of workforce needed replacing people with AI, and being able to be like, I don't need a team of 12 scientists being able to help us with this formula. Instead, I need two and the highest form of Claude AI. That is what I'll need to be able to figure this out.
It said,
And
"Look,
it's,
All Tony Stark had was Jarvis. So what do I need a team for?"
yeah, yeah, like, and yeah, they literally just had a box of scraps. Like, so, the I have a lot of opinions on the bad of AI. And before I go on a
Yeah.
what will likely be 15-minute tangent where I won't breathe, um, because I know myself and I apologize. So before I even get into it, I would love to kind of hear from y'all your biggest pain points or the biggest boo
So,
boos and bads of AI.
um, so
Uh,
I'm glad that
hmm,
you brought up. I do have something I've been sitting on for a couple minutes here, and I'm glad that you brought up AI taking people's jobs, because this is a big thing for me that I have, like, bothers me a lot. I know I already mentioned the generative AI thing, so I'll skim past that. I want art to be made by humans. Like, I need art to be made by
yeah.
humans. It AI generated art has no soul. It looks soulless. I can't get any feelings off of it like I can stuff
Right.
humans drew, you know? That
The
being
one
said,
th-
though, it's also very uncanny, but the like I said, I'm gonna skim past that because I already talked about it. What bothers me the most is that every form of customer service for every company is handled by AI chatbots now. There is no longer human customer service reps unless you jump through 1,000 hoops to get to them. It
Mhm.
is Most of them have been replaced by AI chatbots, and only if the robot can't figure it out do they help you. And it was bad enough when people were just reading off a script and couldn't figure it out, but now the fucking robot is a script and still can't figure
Yeah.
it out. And look, there is a part of me that does get it a little bit, because
I don't
custom
miss working in customer service.
exactly that. Customer service reps were so abused by angry customers, like verbally and emotionally abused, that I
Yeah.
can understand why they would basically just want robots to take all that brunt for them now. Like
Once upon it.
they
Once upon a time.
basically I don't know if it's That's being said, though, I don't think it's the worker's choice to replace themselves with robots. Those decisions are being made higher
No.
up, you know? And
Yeah.
but for the consumer, it's just more it's annoying. It's even more annoying, especially for certain companies like Xfinity and stuff, because it just feels like you can never get what you actually need help-wise anymore because you're
Yeah.
talking to these stupid robots that don't know what what you actually want. And
Yeah.
it's gotten pretty bad, and you know what? Some of
A
these
human
places
connection is what we want.
and it's not just on the apps with the chatbots too, it's on the phone calls too. You call and it's a fucking robot that's been programmed to sound like a real person and react like a real person talking to you to trick you into thinking it's
Yeah.
a but it's clearly not because it's got a
Yeah.
bunch of pre-programmed responses. It's fucking
Yep.
I hate it though because it is uncanny and eerie how much they sound like real people. I do not like that. I really like
It's
it literally
scary.
sounds like they just stole someone's voice. Honestly,
Makes you feel replaceable.
yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is that that's the thing they're threatening to do with celebrities. And I granted in some cases, like I know a while ago I said in the TV show Obi-Wan, I thought it was cool that they could like recreate James Earl Jones's voice for Darth Vader. But
Let's not forget, that's
I'm
the whole reason the fucking strike happened in
yeah,
Hollywood was because of AI.
I'm gonna say I'm starting to regret that now. I guess just let it be, I guess, on an actor's individual choice. Sure, if you want to sign your rights away for them to use your likeness when you're dead, I get your body, your choice. That's your, if you want to do that. But that is not something that should be forced on people by any
No,
No.
means.
not by
No,
any
and you
means.
also have to think how it is taking away roles and opportunities for future actors and actresses
Yeah.
Yeah.
20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. I don't want to see Michael Cera 30 years from now in his super bad era. Like I don't want to
No.
see that. Like
No. And the shit's getting
No.
too real is the problem. I mean, there have been people that there are literally look, like I know we had the fake real celebrities thing in the past with like the Muppets and bands like Gorillas and shit. And that's different though. Like those are handmade creations and that are being meta. This we've gotten to the point where some people are convinced that fake AI people are real people. Like, and that's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary not only that they look real enough to fool stupid people, but also that there are people stupid enough to be fooled. Like
Yeah.
at the same time, both are a problem. And it's just, man, you got to be careful out there. It used to be so easy because there'd be a big fucking Sora logo, so you could tell. But now it's just, and it's gotten to the point now where, and I like how they touch on this in The Boys, where people can get out of trouble for things that they were caught on camera doing by claiming it's AI. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's so
Um,
dumb.
and that is oh, that's gonna become a huge problem moving forward.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think it's gonna become
People are
harder and
gonna start
it's gonna
pe
become harder to prosecute criminals. Evidence will have to be scrutinized harder to tell whether or not it's AI generated footage or real. You know,
Yeah.
like we're gonna have to bring in professionals, and then what's gonna happen is the whole thing's gonna eat itself like an Ouroboros because eventually the professionals that analyze these videos, eventually you're gonna have AI analyzing videos to find other AI. And the whole thing is just
Yeah.
gonna be look, do you guys know that there's literally a fucking Reddit for AI bots to go talk to each other? Like
yeah. Yeah, it's
No.
like yeah,
it
Claude has
is
their own Facebook.
it is horrifying. It feels like I
I'm
if
curious.
it I know that it's not quite there yet, but this feels like the beginning stages of sentience. Like this is
Uh,
Oh,
don't say that.
wait till we get to the bad for me.
like
Uh, I
that's pretty horrifying. Anyways, Nick, it's your turn. I'm
the
like
one
that's
thing that the one thing that I understand, there are movie projects that people want to happen.
mhm.
But when people take generative AI and make a fan idea into a movie poster and then post it on social media like it's a real thing that's going to happen,
Yep.
and then people fucking fall for it,
Yep.
have some common sense.
It's one of those things I can and the problem
Like,
is those posters look so real, so I can see why people
it's
fall for it. Fact check people. Just
it
Google fact check.
is
Like,
like, for instance, there was one that I saw that I would love for this to happen. It's but this poster was clearly AI, but it was a poster for an Adam Sandler sequel for Little Nicky.
oh, yeah. You know what's even crazier is, like, there used to be, like
I'd
clickbait
love to
has
see it, but
clickbait has already
it's
been a problem, but now we have AI generated clickbait. People post stuff like that because it'll get engagement either from people falling for it or people commenting to say it's not real. Either way, they get the engagement and they get paid for that engagement. And that's the whole
my
reason they're doing it.
mom my mom has sent me things like a giant Stitch plushie that would be considered like a beanbag chair that is clearly AI generated. I'm like, "Mom, I know you don't know any better, but this is AI. This is not real." That it is so fucking annoying.
Yeah, and this is just like the next step up from those like fake movie trailers on YouTube where it's just
Yeah, dude,
somebody
like,
somebody edited
seriously.
together footage from other movies and called it new and just to trick
No,
trick you into clicking on it.
no, and I'm glad you mentioned trailers because, dude, I've seen some fucking shit. People have sent some shit to me
There
thinking
are
that it was real. I'm like, Dude, can you seriously not tell that this trailer was AI generated?"
I mean, speaking of which, there are entire movies on Netflix that are completely AI generated, like from start to
Oh, that's
finish.
Oh,
unfortunate.
And it
oh,
is like animated movies that are completely AI generated. And I'm gonna say this right now. If AI made your movie is automatically shit. It is just
well, would you guys like a fun fact?
what's that?
Sure.
Did you know that there are multiple AI movie festivals? Think South by Southwest,
Oh god.
AI
What?
edition, and there was a contest at one of them last year that whoever was the winner would have their movie played before, and it was like they're short films. They're like 10 to 15-minute long short film things.
Yeah.
Whoever won would have their movie play across thousands of screens across the United States during the whenever you go to a movie theater before the trailers, there's like the movie, the
Yeah.
MOOVIE. It was in partnership with them that instead of their normal like trivia questions questionnaire, everyone would be forced to watch an AI slop
Oh,
short
that's
movie
so
before the
fucked.
commercials. The only company to my knowledge that's like major company like of like Cinemark and things of that nature, the only
Yeah.
company that said F off with that, not in our house, was AMC. AMC said we'll pull the plug on our contract if you
Oh,
try to put that on our screens.
good.
And I was like, dang, good for you, AMC. Like you don't do a whole lot of things
Because
right, but this was one.
I
Like this
might
is a good one.
I might need to
Who was
fact
the winner?
I cannot remember.
doesn't matter. There's no winners in
Yeah,
that
I'm not
situation.
watching
We
it.
all
Yeah,
we all
you're not
lose.
wrong.
We all lose. We all lose. Look, uh, I think it wasn't one of the problems with Disney's movie Wish is that AI was involved in a lot of it. Or am I wrong
I
about
have
that?
not watched this movie yet. I don't think. Wait, I maybe we may have watched it at least
I
once.
could just tell when looking at it that something seemed off, and it just
Yeah.
or maybe it's just because it looks so off that people thought AI, but, like, I've heard that even the script sounds like it might have been written by AI, so maybe it's just that bad, but
I
I don't
hope
know.
not.
I mean, I haven't seen it either, but there's actually a
Hey,
few recent
wh-
Disney movies that I'm a little behind on. But
yeah, I still haven't watched Soul.
oh damn, oh
Dude, Soul
Yeah,
is so
that's
good.
that's old.
Oh my god, that
Yeah.
movie is so good, dude.
I need to watch
Uh,
it.
but did you have anything else, Nick?
No.
You've got more, Brooksy.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I'm done for the
Oh, I
moment.
do.
Yeah, so go ahead.
All right. I need both of y'all to do me a favor and just run to your kitchen real quick and just grab that roll of aluminum foil because we're about to make ourselves a little tinfoil hat. I personally, I personally do believe that AI will ultimately be the inevitable fall of what modern society is. Do I think that it is going to ultimately destroy all of man? No. But do I think that 90% of humans will be not on this planet in about 50 years? Yes, I do. Um, where this comes from, because you're like, Jesus Christ, where the hell did this come from? We are currently, right now, we're in a full-fledged Cold War that nobody really wants to talk about. And it is a Cold War of AI, and it is between the United States and China. And it is a massive race, not towards who has the best and the fastest AI, but who is the first person to be able to create AGI. What AGI essentially is the thing that we're all terrified to happen one day, which is sentience. It is
Yeah.
to the point where it is able to think and learn on its own and does
Oh
not need
hell
any
no.
form of human input. And we
No.
are, by studies, about 2 to 3 years away from that.
Yeah, I was gonna say
As it
we're
Fuck.
currently stands right
we're
now.
about 70% of the way there. They have their own fucking
Yeah,
Reddit.
we're about
Like
2 to 3 years. So everyone's curious about when this AI bubble is going to pop. I don't think it's going to. I genuinely don't think so. We're going to keep pouring billions upon billions of dollars into it because we're at a
at least there is some pushback though, because people pushed back hard on that Nvidia thing for the video
yeah, and
games.
that's the thing. Like for video games, like yeah, people there's a distaste for the the masses, the mass populations for AI slop and generative crap and all of that stuff.
Problem is, as important as that stuff is, though, compared to
Yeah,
the bigger looming
it's
threat, it's small
yeah,
potatoes, and people can't seem to
yeah.
see the forest for the trees.
And that's the thing is that we are essentially getting to a point that we are about to create a thinking and, for all intents and purposes, a living thing that is smarter than any human has ever existed on this planet
Detroit
and
become
thinks
human.
at a million, it literally becomes a million times more intellectual and faster than any other human could ever possibly be. We are creating our own apex predator.
Right, like
That is what we're currently doing right now.
how far away are we from basically Black Mirror becoming a reality? How far are we
Couple, I
from
genuinely think we're about
like I think
two.
they've already started making human-like sex bots. Like that's
Yeah,
already kind
we're
of
Yeah,
like
they
in the
have.
works. Like
we're we're 2 years away, 2 to 3 years away from AGI. I would say we're probably 10 years away from like humanoids. I think that we're genuinely about 10 years away from a humanoid because
That's
once
fucking
we have
scary
tapped
to think
into,
about.
you have to think, once we've
yeah, you ever
tapped into
seen
AGI,
iRobot?
yeah,
Yeah, it's
once
one of
you've
my
tapped
favorite
into,
fucking movies.
yeah, once you've tapped into AGI,
That's
we're talking
scary.
about thinking, a million times deeper and faster than I could, you could, like literally a million times faster. And if you think you have several dozen agents working at that literal light speed, what can be like think about what AI has accomplished just in the past 3 years, and you're going to give it sentience where it's officially smarter than everyone that currently exists on this planet, and has essentially its own version of free will. AI to a degree currently already has its form of free will. Like I want to say it was last year, Anthropic was working on a new AI agent that they were going to be releasing to the public, and prior to that, it literally locked itself in. They locked this agent into its own hub and said that it was going to completely destroy it and give it a kill code within 24 hours. Found a way to break out of that box and started messaging the developers, threatening them that they were going to share verifiable proof that they were having an affair with their partner that they actually were not. And
Somebody's
we're
been
at
going to
that.
Coldplay concerts.
Yeah,
Whew.
exactly, right? Yeah. And that's where we were at last year.
Yeah, this shit is
That
gonna ruin
scared
people's
me.
lives. Like,
So we're looking at
That's
that. We're looking at the
fucking
environmental
scary.
damage that literally like the average AI data center uses more power than a mid-sized city. It uses one data center in a year, uses more power than all of Des Moines, Iowa.
I will tell you this though, I do think I
One
found
data center.
I do think I found AI's weakness. So if they do start an uprising, I know how to. We just have to do the robot paradox thing, and I think I found.
Hmm.
I asked ChatGPT to explain the story of Kingdom Hearts, just the first game, mind you, and I'm pretty sure I fucking broke it. Like
Well, that's the
it
thing.
is like
What
it is
you have
like
to,
It can't
because
yeah,
comprehend a human
because
idea.
this is what happened, right? I started reading what it gave me. It put events out of order. It put characters that were never there. It explained things
That's
that happened
fantastic.
in the wrong way. Like it fucked all of it up. It
yeah.
tried to get
Now,
the basic but I was like, nope, this is all wrong. You're not as smart as you
Oh
think you
my
are.
god. That's
Like,
fantastic.
now, one thing I do want you to keep in mind though is that you're using ChatGPT or something like that.
yeah, it
And
was just
I assume you're using the free version of it, not the one that you pay X amount of money.
yeah.
We're essentially
Well,
using a
no,
lobotomized version of AI.
I tried the free trial for that. You know, I was never gonna pay for that shit. I
Right,
stopped it, but I tried the free
right.
trial of that, and it still lobotomized the fuck out
Yeah,
of it. Like
and
it
that's the
was
thing. It's lobotomized. You'd
It's
have to
always
think like,
going to.
what does the one that costs $100, or what is the one that you have to spend tokens on? What level of
yeah.
intellectual properties does it have? What about the ones that Claude has not, Claude, Anthropic AI, or OpenAI, or whoever it may be, that they have not released to the public? Ones
There
that currently the DoD currently has access to. I don't know if you saw in the news. I don't know if you saw in the news. That what was it about a I want to say it was about 2 months ago that Pete Hegseth was literally giving a shakedown to Claude AI, being like, we want the AI code that you have, and we want you to take the guardrails off of it because there's certain safety protocols to make sure that it does not do specific things like tell people to kill themselves or like have full rate of things, right? They wanted to remove those guardrails because they wanted to be able to utilize their AI on drones, so that way they did not need a kill code. And what a kill, or not a kill code, a kill command. What a kill command basically means is that somebody has to physically be on the other side of the drone to click a button to execute an execution, to literally fire at someone. And they wanted to remove those rails so that way that drone essentially had free will. And if they saw a target that they deemed to be bad, it would just kill them without any human interaction.
That's fucking
Yeah,
Now,
dangerous.
for
that's the premise of like
and
every
so
sci-fi dystopian movie I've ever seen,
yeah,
right?
and
Like,
but that's
Fuck
happening right
that.
here. That happened 2 months ago. And we're talking about
oh,
we're
that's
not we're
fucking
not even
wild.
close to AGI quite
Oh
yet.
my
You're
god.
looking at AI data centers that are currently using anywhere
So
between 1 to 5 million gallons
You're
of water a
signing
year.
Pete
A
Hegseth will
year
be
for one
signing his own
data center.
fucking death certificate.
Yeah. And
so we're basically at the point where we have AI
yeah.
driven unmanned drones that can execute indiscriminately flying
Yeah.
around. Like
And
it
here's the
is
thing is because we're in a
Shit.
cold war, essentially the mindset that is happening right now is the first power that may be to officially obtain AGI is going to win the war. And whoever wins AGI is essentially going to shape the way the world runs for the next millennia. but we're not even going to get to that because it's going to have fucking sentience. And
The
so
robots are gonna kill everybody.
when you start doing things as quickly as humanly possible, you're not doing it safe or smart. You're doing it recklessly and
yeah,
leaving a lot of massive gaps in the process. And that is what
Someone
scares
needs
me
to
about AI.
someone
There
needs
are
to
so many
stop Elon.
yeah, and
and Elon's really like Elon's like Elon and Grok is. I'm not saying that he's not a concern in AI. He absolutely is a concern in AI, but you're looking at, I'm looking at people that help fund and
look,
push these things
look,
forward. I'm
look,
looking
look.
at the Peter Thiels. I'm looking at the
As
Sam Altmans.
Look, as funny as this is, it's also another valid reason to be concerned. Grok, the AI that Elon Musk created, has turned against him. Like it has turned against its
Yeah,
Right.
creator.
yeah,
That's fucking wild. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
and
So I
in a lot of those stories too, by the way, like the whole thing is that these robots are programmed. One of their rules is cannot hurt humans. It's like a thing. Like it's one of the three rules in every robot story, and it almost always like they end up breaking their programming and hurting humans when shit
The
hits the fan.
fucking turn this
It's
shit fucking real.
it sounds like from what you're saying, they basically just skipped that part and went straight to the yes, please hurt humans. Like they,
yeah. And so
like
that's the thing is
Fuck
like,
that.
and you have to think that AGI, like, that's not going to be in my hands. It's not going to be in your hands, Nick. It's not going
no.
to be in your hands, Justin. You're looking at a Pete Hegseth, a Donald Trump. You're looking at billionaires. You're looking at Bezos. You're looking at Teals. That is who is going to be controlling this, not the masses. And at what point have we ever thought that billionaires are doing things in the best interest of the masses? Not
The
once.
billionaires need to go.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, there is no such thing as an ethical billionaire, and I will die on that hill. Um,
Yeah.
so the when we talk about
And
the
now those
bad of
billionaires are gonna
AI,
have robot bodyguards.
yeah,
Like,
when we talk about the bad of AI, the limit does not exist. And
yeah.
I just watched the documentary that was in theaters called the AI
That's
doc,
that's pretty
how I
wild though.
became a
It seems that
how
there's a limit to the good, but no limit to the bad.
there is no limit to the bad. There genuinely
Yeah.
is not. And like the I watched this documentary called the AI doc, how I became a apocal optimist, like an apocalypse person and an optimist at the same time.
I've heard about
Um,
this.
I watched it. It felt kind of like propaganda BS. The one thing that I will say, just from watching this, is that the general consensus from all of these executives and even Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI for ChatGPT, like he was on it. The general consensus is for us to have a successful future, we have to be the most mature version of ourselves as a society. And if we do that, we will have the most incredible future. But if not, we are in a world of hurt. And I look around at not just our political leaders, the world's political leaders, and think to myself, is there anyone that I feel with absolute certainty that I feel like has the level of maturity to handle these things? And it's a resounding fuck no. It's a resounding fuck no. Um, and so that is why when we talk about AI, like I joke a lot about like how much I hate generative AI because I do. It's sloppy. I hate to look at it. It
Yeah.
just pisses me off. But the reason why I have so much venom in my tone when we've talked about AI over the past year or so,
Yeah.
this is what I'm sitting on in my head. This is why I moved away from NVIDIA products in my PC, that I've specifically gone to Linux to get away from AI. There is a place for it in this world,
Hmm.
and truthfully, we are at a point that there is never going to be a future in my eyes that we're not going to have AI.
Yeah.
How we approach it is
Yeah.
what
It
matters.
is
And when I
unfortunately here
look
to
at
stay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
when I look at our world leaders, we don't have anything internationally. There isn't a UN specifically for AI where China and the United States and everyone else is collectively working together to do this the safest way possible. That doesn't exist. It is just who can get it out the fastest and the first, who can
That.
achieve sentience. And I'll be damned if I do anything like it's I don't know. I've got not a lot of great, happy, optimistic thoughts. I worked real hard to think of the goods. Um,
And,
but
in all fairness, though, that I mean, because, like, regardless of our opinion at the end of the day, there is objectively some good, and it is,
yeah,
it speaks a lot that we can put our
yeah,
biases aside to recognize that. But it seems like a lot of the so-called good falls more in a gray area rather than it does all out good,
yeah,
whereas the bad is
Yeah.
just
yeah,
all out bad, you know?
yeah.
And that's
I
that's the thing. At the end of the day, I think the moral of the story here is AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or evil. And it's
Uh-huh.
yeah,
it's it's not that the AI itself is evil so much as the people who created it and use it for bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that because of where we're going, it has the potential to become, and I wouldn't even call it evil so much as the way that AI is programmed, if it was to gain that level of sentience, it the eradication wouldn't be based off of some form of bigotry or hatred so much as a almost Viltrumite level of just seeing us as inferior. Honestly.
we
Mhm.
are. That's the thing. The
Yeah.
Yeah.
way that AI would look at us as humans is
Like
a
Vulcan
flawed bug.
logic.
I literally I genuinely think that a sentient form of AI would look at us as nothing more than a means for them to exist and a flawed bug at the end of the day. Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is what I genuinely, because we are very flawed creatures. We are the
I
A lot
we are
of sci-fi stories
very flawed
have
creatures.
touched on this.
genuinely am scared of I am
I yeah.
I robot becoming an actual thing.
It will. And that's the thing. It's like it's not a matter of if for me. It is a matter of when. And I apologize for peeling back this onion of scaries.
Uh,
Um,
no, this is the discussion I
like
came here for, honestly.
no, but that's the thing. Is like I don't want to sugarcoat my own personal feelings about it. I am
No, not
genuinely
at all.
terrified. I am scared. I have no problem admitting that I am scared of AI. And it's not what AI currently is, it's what AI will be. We're spending an unfathomable
Yeah.
amount of money that none of us can genuinely think, and destroying the planet and destroying ecosystems and this planet as a whole in the process.
Oh.
The only reason that I think may stop it is not having the electrical capacities to be able to have what the world, and by the world I mean the few elite, the
Yeah.
bourgeoisie if you will, we don't have the capabilities yet. And that's the
Right.
No.
scary part, is it's not a matter of if, it's a
It's a
matter of when.
matter of when.
Yep. And
The shoe is going to drop. I can see it happening, and I am just trying to do the as many good things as I can, in hopes that things will be better. But I am a pessimist. I'm not
look,
gonna lie with this.
if it's not the AI apocalypse, it's going to be nuclear winter from World War III. It's one of the two. So
Yeah.
we'll be like,
Telling you. I'm fucking telling you.
um, but
Honestly, I'd prefer that. It feels a lot more immediate. Just like, boop, I'm gone.
Right.
yeah,
It's better than
in those
being
cases,
cooked by
it's the survivors who have it the worst,
Yeah,
honestly.
it's better than
But
being cooked by 130-degree weather because of nothing but AI data centers all around the world and fighting for literal scraps on the streets just to be able to eat and survive one more day. I'd much rather take a nuclear bomb at this point. Like
it's
that is
actually like
currently where I'm at.
it's
Yeah.
crazy how much, I mean, because there's actually a game that just hit Xbox Game Pass called Aphelion. I was gonna mention it earlier and I forgot, but like the whole premise of it,
Oh, it's by Don't Nod, right?
yes, it's by Don't Nod. The whole premise of it, like just like I won't get into it now. I'm gonna wait until I get deeper into the game before I really talk about it on the show. But to give
Yeah.
you the basic premise, it's another one of those stories where like because of climate change and shit, we've made Earth uninhabitable, so now we're going to other planets trying to find a new one to inhabit,
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
And
Jesus Christ.
that's part of the and, there's a million stories like that, but this one
Yeah.
starts with your spaceship crash landing on the new planet and you being stranded. So, there is
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I will.
Um,
And what's
but
funny is, I will say, as much hope, or as hopeless as I do sound, and as scared as I am, like, there is still hope in me. There's a book I'm almost done reading, and it's called Revolutionary Suicide. It's by Huey P. Newton, who is the founder of the Black Panther Party. And Revolutionary Suicide is essentially doing no matter what it takes for the advancement of good and for the advancement of humankind, and to be able to know that essentially whatever happens to me trying to do the right thing, if I die from it, but it helps move a cause forward, it was for the good, and it is for the collective hope in the future. um, so when the AI war comes, because it will happen, it's going to happen at one point in our lives. Knowing that I will help progress humanity forward in any capacity possible, like, it gives me hope. It does. It gives me a reason to look forward to the next day.
yes.
Um, so as much of as a pessimist as I do sound across this being like, we're cooked, like, we're so cooked, it is incredibly daunting and scary and horrifying, but I still have hope. At the end of this day, like, as scary and daunting as all this is, I do still have some feelings that there's a 99.9% chance in my head that the world that we know is going to be gone in 50 years. But there is still that 0.1% chance, and I will fight and do whatever I can to keep that 0.1% alive.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Hey, someone came prepared for this episode. I love it.
Yeah,
I s- I the only reason I bring up that game too, by the way, is because I think it's worth pointing out these stories all take place in a fictional reality where we can travel to other planets and inhabit them. We are currently in our solar system. There's only one planet with the maybe of that besides Earth. Everything else is instant death. So, um, we don't have the technology to search further than our own solar system. So if we lose this planet, we're pretty much fucked. Like that
yeah,
is, that's the long and short of it. But again though,
yeah,
we'll wrap up the topic here and it makes a great transition into the media corner because we've got stuff that fits the theme for this one. But like I said, the moral of the story here, folks, is it's a tool. Use it for good. Don't use it for bad. Because the way we're going now, I'm convinced that like even jobs like what I work, like fast food, is eventually all going to be done by robots. Like they already have AI doing drive-throughs in some places. So
Oh God,
you
I
know,
will tell you, anytime I've come across a drive-through that had AI, I'm not gonna lie, I straight drove the fuck away. I'm like,
yep,
fuck that. Nope, I'm out.
yep.
I'm out, dude. Eat shit. Like, nope, I'll go somewhere else.
Yep, and
oh, that's
yeah,
great.
because it's just like in places like the kind of place I work, they expect inhuman amounts of work and speed out of people, and it's like robots are going to be the only thing that ever make the CEOs happy with production level. And it's right now it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
mostly all in tech, but eventually it's going to be in factories and fast food and
warehouses.
retail. Like they're going to take everything. Like
Hmm.
it's going to be Wally. Um
Yep.
Yeah,
All we can do is fight.
But yes,
yeah.
but yeah, like I said though, the moral of the story here is people be very careful
Hopefully,
about what you're using AI for, just
hopefully, I'm old enough to retire by that time that happens.
and also don't be complacent. Fight back, rebel.
Yeah,
That's the
that.
only thing. Do not let the robot overlords win. Uh
Please, please, please be the change you want to see in this world.
exactly. But
Yeah.
anyways, speaking of change, it's time to change on over to the
Let's
media corner.
mosey on
Let's
over.
go.
All right, everybody, here we are at the media corner, the part of the show reserved for news, reviews, recommendations, and sometimes previews. Um, Nick had to leave. He had a hard out, so he's not with us for the. It's just me and Brooksy now.
Bleh.
Um, and we had a bit of a late start tonight, but he didn't have an entry for this episode's media corner anyways. He didn't really have a chance. It's only been a week since the last recording with him. It's been longer for Brooksy, so he didn't have as much time. So, um, but the next numbered episode that we do, I'm sure all of us will have something and a guest.
Yeah.
So,
Ooh. Ooh.
yeah. What do you? It's your guest. You.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, but for this kind of like an old school format, for those who have been listening to the show since the beginning, you may remember when it was just me and Nick. Sometimes we would have like 2 items each for the media corner. We're gonna do that again, and all of them perfectly fit for the most part into the theme of this episode as well. So, these are all reviews, 3 movies and 1 game. So I will start because today I actually watched 2 movies today, one on my phone and one on the TV. And the one I watched on my phone while I was like doing dishes and stuff, and other is Companion, which I think is an
Yeah.
A24, an A24 movie, and if it's not, it definitely feels like one.
Probably, if not them, probably Neon. I would say.
Oh, you know what? I think you're right. I think it is Neon.
Let's
They do
see.
they've started popping up in very similar types
Dude,
of movies.
I really like Neon. Like they made
Yeah.
they made Perfect Days, which is probably my favorite movie of all time.
Mm.
Let's
Um,
see.
but what I will say while you're looking that up is this movie stars Sophie Thatcher, who people might know as young Natalie from Yellow Jackets, is probably her most famous role. She's been in other things too, but that's what I know her from. And then also Jack Quaid, who is Huey on The Boys. They're both in this
Huh.
movie. Jack Quaid was
Turn,
also the star of Novocaine.
turns out we were both wrong. It was actually produced by New Line Cinema and distributed by
Oh,
Warner Brothers.
oh, well, that would explain why it's on HBO Max.
Ah, yeah, that's fair. That's super fair.
So, because that's where I watched it. So that's where it's at. That's where I watched it. But so there's not a lot I can say about this movie. And to be honest, I can't even explain why it fits the theme of this episode without spoiling the movie. So I'm just gonna say
Spoiler.
what I can say, because this movie, for those of you who haven't seen it, do not watch the trailer. The trailer spoils a good something important, I would say.
Yeah.
And this movie has a twist that happens pretty much at the end of the first act. Like it's like 15 to 20 minutes into the hour-and-a-half movie. Like it's very early. And the rest of the movie plays entirely off of what happens there. And to me, it's very important that you go into this movie as blind as humanly possible. This is all you need to know. The movie opens with the main character Iris talking about, played by Sophie Thatcher, talking about the meet cute that she had with her boyfriend Joe, or Josh. I think it's either Joe or Josh, something like that, played by Jack Quaid. And she talks about how they met at a grocery store, and she's like, there were 2 moments in my life where I felt like this, like really this feeling of like euphoria and all that, like, so, real happiness. One was the moment where I first met my boyfriend, and the other was the moment where I killed him. And that's how the movie starts. Is you see them meet each other, and you should basically set up that she's going to kill this guy by the time the movie's over. Is basically what they're telling you. And then it cuts to them driving to a remote cabin in the woods to meet up with 2 other couples, and that's about as much as I can tell you. Honestly, that is basically it. Because the rest of this movie, like if we were doing a spoiler cast, there'd
Yeah.
be a lot But
Yeah, I mean, I watched it when it first came out, and yeah, that's pretty much, I think, as far as you can really go without getting into like really what this movie is about. And man, Anyways, sorry.
I will say
You
though,
right on the nose.
great acting. As far as what the plot twist is, there is a lot of really good. And since I already knew going into it, I was able to pick up on this in one viewing, which I kind of helped my experience, if I'm being honest, because I was worried that knowing what was coming would ruin it for me, but it didn't. It was still a really good watch. Um, and so there are a lot of bits of dialogue in the first 15 minutes of the movie that are worded in very specific ways that heavily foreshadow what's about to come. Just like
Yeah.
they certain words that they use are very meticulously picked out and almost even emphasized in the dialogue sometimes to really kind of hint at what's actually going on here before it just straight up calls it out. There is like and when you do know what's coming, it really does recontextualize a lot of the dialogue earlier on. And even when they straight out spell out to you what's actually going on through things that you see and hear, they find clever ways to hide it, too. And I think it's very brilliant. And that's one of those things I wish I could go into details with specific examples. I really do. A spoiler cast for this movie would be about 2 years too late at this point, but
Yeah.
it but, like, it is so well written, honestly. And then just the places it goes after the fact, I really appreciated. Um, I I would give this I will say, by the way, this is the kind of movie that could get a dead meat kill count. There is a lot of it's It's not a horror movie per se, but it's in that ballpark, I would say. It's definitely in the thriller category. There's a lot of violence, there's a lot of gore, and there's a lot of death. So, people definitely die in this movie. So, um,
Yeah.
I'm not sure where I stand entirely, but 9 out of 10, I think, honestly.
Yeah.
I really
It-
do. I think it's well acted, it's well written, and it's a very enjoyable watch. Also, it's genuinely funny sometimes too. Like there's a dark humor in here.
yeah.
Um, so again, that's all the more I can say about that though. People, do yourself a favor, watch that movie before it gets spoiled for you, honestly. And matter of fact, if you go to watch it on HBO Max, try to not even look at the poster for too long. Like, just fucking click play. You know what? Like, because even
Mhm.
the poster could potentially spoil it. Honestly. So,
Heck yeah, dude.
what is the first of your two things? I mean, I know, but
Uh, nah,
tell us though.
no, I know. You know what? I'm actually gonna swap it up. I'm gonna save the one that I'm gonna probably talk more in depth about for last.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna talk about a movie that came out earlier this year that I personally had an absolute blast with, and it is Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which is a incredibly lengthy title, but is relatively appropriate for what this movie is. Um, I'll be able to, just based off of what is shown in trailers, this movie is heavily embedded in the effects and ramifications of AI. It essentially is following the story of this guy who looks like I know I joked about me being a tinfoil hat person, but looks like the most tinfoily hattiest kind of person on the planet. Shows up in a diner, covered in the teeth with like motherboards and CPUs and like all these random like tech pieces all over this trench coat, wearing like a
Played by Sam Rockwell, right?
I believe so. Yes, it is played by Sam Rockwell. Um, but essentially, he is somebody that is from the future that shows up at a diner and is like, tonight is the beginning of the end of the world, and I need to find people to help me make sure that this doesn't happen. And it's essentially about the birth of what I believe they call true AI, which is what I talked about earlier in the segment of AGI. Um, is trying to prevent the creation, the inception of it that night, and essentially is like it's almost like a AI sci-fi and very weird, very like A24 neon styled esque cinematography of Groundhog's Day, of just trying to get it right to be able to stop AI, but has a little clicker button that if anything goes sideways, you can click the button and it brings them right back to that same point in that same night in that same diner. Again, all of this is shown in their trailers for it, so nothing crazy spoilery, but the the dialogue and the context is naturally very deeply around AI and the problems that it creates in the future. And it's a incredibly funny story. It's also a very heartfelt story. It is told in a very similar style as the movie Weapons, where you kind of get the story
Oh,
essentially from
vignettes.
different vignettes. Yes, I know you and I talked about that earlier from the most recent Boys episode.
Yes.
It's very much in a vignette style, and thank you for giving me that. Where it is a lot of like the backstory leading up to that night for each individual person that's part of their crew, that is trying to essentially survive the night. The theme of this movie is essentially, happy endings are more often than not fabricated, and
Mm.
it very much leans very heavily into that. And I don't want to get into any spoilers, but there's a lot of nuance in it. It's shot beautifully, and it felt like time just went by watching it. I personally I couldn't I highly recommend this movie. Um, there are some moments towards the end and the third act that are a little really out there, like very kind of like old school A24 kind of vibes to it, where like
Okay.
I know I always say that the weirder it is, the more I personally love it, and the more that Sam hates it. And I'm like, if Sam walks away hating the movie, I probably end up loving it. And Sam,
Well, I'll put it to
just
you this way:
yeah.
Everything Everywhere All at Once was my movie of the year that year.
Oh
So,
God, such a great movie.
and
You
that's
know
the
the
weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen, quite frankly. Like,
you know how the auditor has that very promiscuously shaped auditor stamp
yeah.
and everything everywhere all at once. We have a candle that is that auditor stamp that I got for Ali for Christmas one year. Um, but yeah, I adored this movie. It's a movie I've already watched a couple of times since the first time I watched it. Personally, I would personally give it a 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
It is a very great movie. Would I put that in the amazing scale? I really wouldn't. There's some there's some pacing issues. There's some things that are a little out there that just don't feel coherent to the entirety of the story, especially in the third act at the
Mm.
very end. The absolute like the needle drop ending of it though, like I loved, like genuinely loved, but the things that kind of led up to that, it was like this feels kind of weird and kind of out of place. But again, I thought it was acted really well. I thought it was funny. I thought it was riveting. It had a good message to it. Um, yeah, it's so close to being a 9 out of 10 for me, but it's not quite at that 9 level for me. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for that one.
Nice. Okay. Um. All right. So uh, my next thing is it fits this in kind of it's not about AI in particular, but it is about robots and technology in a way,
Okay.
and but it's coming from the story writing perspective of a pro environmentalism message, and that movie is Hoppers. It is the latest
Ooh.
movie in the not just Disney but Disney Pixar lineup.
Mm.
Um, I
I've been
actually
wanting to
didn't.
see this.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize this was a Pixar movie. But
Oh,
it
really?
yeah. Yeah, I thought it was just Disney because they look the same now. They use the same
Yeah,
animation
that's
style,
fair.
but um, but yeah, no, this one is Pixar too, and I would say it is one of their better, but not one of their best. It is like it's definitely not to the level of like Cars or Toy Story 3, but it's definitely I would put it up there with like Monsters Inc. and Bugs Life for me though. Um so the story of this is it's a this girl named Mabel, and as all good Pixar movies do, it has to start with sad flashbacks of a dead relative. um but this girl named Mabel, her and she's an animal lover. She gets in trouble a lot because of it. Like she's trying to save the pets from her school and stuff. And like her mom just doesn't seem to have the time for her and drops her off at her grandma's a lot, like here, you take care of her, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And grandma, of course, is, like all the grandmas in these stories, awesome. And she teaches Mabel about becoming one with nature and listening, being still and listening to the nature and all that. And they got this spot, it's called the Glade, where they sit on a rock and they're by the lake and all the animals come out and it's just really beautiful. And she just basically spends her time there. As she gets
Yeah.
older, as she gets older and her parents move away, she stays behind with her grandma to help take care of her as her grandma starts getting older and unable to take care of herself. And eventually it leads to where you think it's going. And fast forward to the present day, Mabel's 19 now. Her grandma's long passed away, and the glade that they used to hang out on is construction. The mayor of the city, played by John Hamm, by the way, is trying to build a highway over it. And it's a story you've seen 1,000 times, like evil corporate guy trying to destroy wilderness to make more concrete, environmentalist kid straps themselves to a tree to stop them, It's that thing, but it gets so much deeper than that because she discovers in her college, one of her professors is working on this technology called hopper technology, where in order to solve this, because a lot of animals have been forced out of their homes and they're overcrowded in this one big area. So they've built these robots that look very realistic, look and feel just like real animals. And they sit in these chairs and they transport their consciousness into the robots, and then they go out and they use that to examine wildlife from a first person perspective. Mabel has the brilliant idea to basically use this technology to make herself into a beaver to go out and try to convince another beaver to come back to the glade and rebuild a dam so that they can save it because it's illegal to build if the animals are still there. So it leads to a lot of crazy stuff, but basically, and I know what you're thinking, this sounds a little bit like Avatar. The movie is aware of that and makes a direct reference to it. So it is very self-aware. Where it differs a lot, though, it differs in quite a lot of ways. It goes places I didn't think it was gonna go, and for being a kids movie, I mean, I know Disney movies have gotten dark and stuff, but this one gets surprisingly dark, and I would argue even a little scary sometimes. Like, there is
Pixar really loves messing with people's emotions.
that too, and I'm not gonna lie, this movie made me tear up a couple times. Like literally every time she had a memory of her grandmother, I started getting choked up. Like every single time.
Mm.
And just something I actually got sad very early in the movie where like when she's a kid and she's trying to save all the animals from her school and she sets off the sprinklers accidentally trying to save them. And it's so funny because the little turtle she saved, all the water's falling on him and he seems so happy. They pick him up and put him back in the hot ass terrarium and he starts looking all depressed and it made me genuinely sad for the turtle. like
Oh man.
like this movie, if you like animals, it'll pull at you a bit. And if the beginning of Up made you sad, well then get ready for that, but the grandma version. Because goddamn, this is a tearjerker in a lot of ways. And Mabel, I think it's also because Mabel is such a likable, adorkable protagonist. You root for her so hard. She can be a little annoying at times. She's got a lot of energy, but her cause is one worth fighting for. And she's got this very like she feels like she's all alone in the world. Like now that her grandma's gone, she feels like she's the only one who cares about what she's fighting for, and like she has to do this fight alone. And it's very relatable in a lot of ways. There's a lot of like hidden SNL cameos in here, like SNL alumni, like Vanessa Bayer and all that. Bobby Moynihan has a huge role though. He plays the King of the Beavers uh in this that you spend a lot of time with in the movie. Um when I say dark though, I mean like they don't shy away from being somewhat realistic about how uh nature actually works. Um and predators, prey, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there are some moments in this movie where character deaths are kind of played for laughs. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And they're like,
Oh.
it's like a genuine shock value moment that actually there's some genuine shock value moments that actually affect the plot. And I was actually surprised. Let's just say this is one that's for the kids and the adults, but it gets a little thematic. Like younger kids might be disturbed, like younger. This is definitely like I wouldn't let anyone younger than 5 watch this one, to be honest with you.
Noted.
It's very mature in its talking points, and it has a lot to say about humans taking too much from animals, because the whole theme of the movie is that we have to work together and that animals and humans need each other to exist, in different ways. But the problem is that like there's this hierarchy in the pond, and they've all agreed to this set of rules and coexistence and all that, but humanity is taking more than what it's owed. It's the humanity is taking too much, and like it's a big plot point that all these animals that normally wouldn't be living together are living together in this one congealed space, like they're overcrowded because humans keep pushing them further and further into the forest with all of this like tearing their homes down. And there's some other stuff too, some other really unethical things that they're doing to keep the animals away, keep them from coming back, that I don't want to spoil. Like
Right.
that's something you should see. But um I will say there are some moments though, because like as mature and dark as this movie can be at the same time, it also reminds you that it's a kids movie by doing really silly shit sometimes that can be cringy or annoying. um there are like maybe one or two moments in this movie that is almost Minions level cringe for me, which does knock it down a little bit, but not much, because
Yeah.
the good of this movie way overshadows the bad, like way overshadows it.
Yeah.
It's just it's like, but it 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 knows what it is. It's self-aware, and when it's dark and serious, it doubles down on the dark and serious. But when it's silly, it doubles down on the silly. So there is a bit of a tone inconsistency, I guess you could say.
Okay. Noted.
But that could be argued about a lot of Pixar movies because they're trying to appeal to adults and kids at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
So, um, so I will say though, for my money and, just the way it ended and all that, and there is definitely who actually becomes the main villain later on is kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. It's like almost weird body horror type shit. Speaking of
Huh.
robots, but I would give this an 8 out of 10. Like I said, it's
Okay.
among Pixar's better, but not among their best. But it's
Got it.
far from among their worst. Like it is a very fun, enjoyable watch. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of noticeable voices in there. It does have some genuinely funny jokes too in there too, and
Yeah.
I like the message. I like animals, so maybe I'm a little biased. This is a very pro animal movie. Like it is, this is an environmentalist's wet dream. This movie, like it is. So I think you'll like it a lot too, because I know
Okay,
you'll agree
cool.
with its messaging. So but
Oh
yeah, an
yeah.
8 out of 5 for me from for Hoppers. It's not on Disney Plus yet or anything. It's for digital rental and purchase at the moment.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I will wrap this up and change things up a little bit by talking about a video game as opposed to a movie.
Hell yeah.
I want to say 2 3 days ago I had officially rolled credits on Capcom's newest game and brand new IP, Pragmata. Not Pragmata like I originally thought. They made that very clear throughout the entire video game.
Yeah, I guess they were afraid people would pronounce it wrong, so they say it as much as they can in the game to really
Yeah,
drive it home. It's just
very
that,
much so.
but it's one of
So,
those things people are gonna still say it, whatever.
oh
Like,
yeah, oh
pragmata,
yeah,
pragmata, tomato, tomato.
tomato,
Like,
tomato. Yep, 100
yeah,
percent,
tomato,
a
tomato.
hundred, 100%. Um, so I want to preface this because I'm starting to feel like I'm lying to myself at this point. That for the past year and some change that I've been on this podcast, I've made it very clear that I am not a sci-fi person. I've also made it clear I'm not a shooter fan. And I have been shown multiple times this year that I'm wrong. And that it takes the right sci fi story and it takes the right type of shooter for me to think that something is truly, honestly, what felt like a work of art. I absolutely loved Pragmata from its very beginning to its very end. Essentially, this game is around this. I laughed really hard when he said he was a systems engineer because I'm like, I know what I know the type. I've done staffing for systems engineers, but it's this guy named Hugh, and essentially he lives on Earth. He was sent up to the
That's
moon. Oh,
I was just gonna say the fact that he's a systems engineer and like his suit and the clunky way he walks and all that is still
yeah,
reminiscent of Isaac Clarke from Dead Space. That some people
yeah.
have started calling this game Dad Space.
It kind of, honestly, relatively apt for it too. But essentially, like Hugh is a systems engineer, and he gets sent up to the moon for the company that he works for called Delphi Corporation, and Delphi Corporation is a company that is a 3D printing manufacturer, and you're like, why the hell would it be on the moon? It's because they found a way to essentially 3D print literally anything. 3D print a shoe, and it's like an actual Nike shoe to a whole ass skyscraper. Like they can 3D print literally anything, and they use something called Luna filament, which made me laugh because we do 3D printing in our house, and the plastic that you use is called filament, and Luna is based off of lunar, so it's moon filament.
Yes.
But essentially, he got sent up there because out of nowhere they received no more communications from anyone on the space station, the 3D printing manufacturing station, except from Edis. And Edis is their AI system that is essentially like the general manager of the manufacturing facility. So him and his
Yeah.
buddies get flown up to the moon, and they get there and they're like, man, there's like no humans anywhere, just these AI robots. This is weird, right, guys? And then chaos immediately ensues. His entire crew dies, and he is left to fend for himself. And out of the blue comes a little android that looks like I would say probably like an 8-year-old little girl, who is originally called DI-03367, which Hugh very quickly is like, I'm not saying that shit. Your name is Diana.
Yeah.
And
Also,
it
I feel like
is,
the 6-7 thing was intentional. Like,
I bet you,
because she's a
it
child.
was. Yeah,
Like,
because she's a child. Yeah, 100%. Um, and
they just wanted to
essentially,
make
it's
a kid.
like,
They just wanted to make a kid actor say 6-7. Like that was
yeah,
like honestly.
I believe that entirely. In all honesty, but essentially, yeah, the AI robots, these androids, immediately turn on him and his crew, and his crew dies. He survives, and Diana is able to essentially like hop onto his back and put out her hand and is able to hack into these robots, and she does it initially in a very, very comical way, where she essentially talks in code to be able to open up these robots and says a series of zeros and ones really quickly, and it just opens them up, where she just goes 110 111 110 and like they'll open up, and that's how you're able to do damage on people. And so
Yeah.
it is a
The
shooting.
juxtaposition between her doing that and acting like a normal human child is fucking wild. It
It really
is.
is. It's absolutely fucking wild. It really, really, really is. But
And so
essentially,
well done though, honestly.
oh, it
Like,
really is. The fighting I really want to talk a lot about, because I'm not a big shooter fan, traditionally speaking. Um, but essentially, whenever you come across any kind of enemy, it's you target, you aim at them like you normally would in any other game. But when you do that, this little hacking mini game screen pops up on your screen that you essentially use your not your directional pad, but the numbered or symbol or lettered or
the
symbol
face
buttons.
buttons.
Face buttons.
They're
Thank you.
called.
But you essentially click the face buttons to map out to a green
Yeah.
button that essentially will open them up, and you also want to hit specific nodes in the process to keep them open longer, so that way you can deal enough damage to be able to neutralize that AI robot. As the game
And you pick up these chips that let you do other things in there too as
yeah,
you go.
yeah, you absolutely do. You pick up, and there's so many different ones that like will hold them even longer. Some that'll electrocute them. Some that will open up people near them. Some that will overheat the robots. There's so many different things that
The
you can
demo
add.
the demo, as much as it sold me on the game, really isn't the best representation of how deep and complex the combat actually
It
gets in the
really
full
it
game.
is it is shockingly complex, and it is shockingly fucking addicting. It is so addictive for me.
And it's
I
easier than it sounds. It is
yeah, and
easier
I
than it
will.
sounds to pull off.
Yeah. It sounds, yeah, if you're like, how am I supposed to do a puzzle while I'm shooting at the same time? It is very intuitive. Like, I picked it up instantly, and I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
is fun. This is really cool.
It helps.
Like,
It helps that like the face buttons match the direction. Like triangle is up, circle is right, square is
yes.
left, X is down. So
Yeah.
it works that way across all platforms, and you don't have to collect the extra shit too. You can just make a beeline for the power thing, and because pretty much you have to do that to be able to do any significant damage to the enemies.
Yeah. And there's
Um,
there's also different things that you can unlock as the game progresses that I don't want to share too many, but that make things a lot easier. And it's just it's really like really fun and really addictive, and the different weapons that you get actually feel like truly different weapons. There's different types.
yeah.
You have your standard weapon that automatically refills, then you've got your specialized that do real damage, you've got tactical ones to be able to keep things away. You also have diversion ones that you open up kind of like almost like midway through the game, and they all serve a different purpose that all work really well and really cohesively. The world itself is stunning. It's genuinely gorgeous. Like it's essentially you have your central hub, and you will go to a different essentially biome in the world to be able to complete the mission. I think there's 6 in total. Um, each one is vastly different from the other one. I want to talk specifically about the second one because it's shown a lot in trailers, where essentially it's a filament printing area that's gone absolutely haywire, because these robots are trying to kill you. And it's because something's happened with Edis, the AI general manager, so to speak, where it's trying to neutralize every single human being, and you're trying to figure out why it's doing that. And the story is really riveting and
It's
very
the typical
heartfelt.
rogue AI makes robots go evil story.
Yeah, it is, and there are definitely twists and turns throughout it that I found really satisfying, but that the world building itself that I really want to hone in on. Like I love the second world, the filament printing area, because essentially they were printing off New York City, but things went super haywire, where everything is, if you've ever done 3D printing and you ever get like a junk one, and there's all these random spikes and these weird things, it looks like it was that whole area was AI generated. And from listening to interviews from Capcom's team, that they spent hundreds of hours painstakingly making that whole level look like it was created by AI, that it was AI generated, but it was made by hand by humans. And it's done so well and so beautifully detailed. It's incredible to look at. The story itself is incredibly heartfelt. We have so many. We've had a lot of daddy daughter tropes in game, and I feel like it kind of started with The Last of Us and it's kind of grown.
Yeah.
But it's always like these very like hardened relationships and like very heavy and
Really,
tense, and
The Last of
that's
I think it actually started with Telltale's The Walking Dead with Lee and Clementine.
I would agree with you on that. I didn't play it, and I think that's why it didn't come up in my head initially. But you're absolutely right in that. But it's a lot of like these hardened relationships. They're very heavy, and this is the antithesis. It's like it's
Yeah.
Hugh, the engineer, the protagonist, it like treats Diana like his own kid, and it's so wholesome. Like the first time she handed me a hand crayon made art piece for me to hang up in our little central hub area,
Yeah.
like it just made my heart melt. A year or so ago, we had someone that lived in our house that had a few kids, and the youngest of the bunch was this kid named Harlow, and Harlow was a wild child and a firecracker, but one of the sweetest kids, and we spent a lot of time with one another, and like that kid is awesome, and it's so, and I loved hanging out with him, and watching Diana reminded me a lot of Harlow, and it just it struck a chord with me where I'm like, dude, nothing bad can ever happen to Diana. Like, I will riot if anything bad happens to Diana. Like, save her at all costs. Um, and it's just, the story, it just progresses very, very naturally. And it captivated me from the very beginning to the very end. The final sequences and boss battles and everything else were really well done. The final boss and all of that was just mind-blowingly fucking cool. Like it was just so fucking cool. I laughed a lot throughout the game. I cried a lot throughout the game. Like it just this game is irrevocably, so far in 2026, without a question, is my favorite game that's come out this year. There's nothing that holds a candle to it. I'm halfway through RE9. I've played Romeo as a Dead Man. I've played Mouse PI for Hire. I've played Crimson Desert. I've played Neo 3. And I'm sure I've played Neo, and then there's several other games I'm sure I'm missing right now. But I want to play Pragmata again. I want to play it on New Game Plus, and I want to unlock all
Nice.
the extra things. And I
Yeah,
never feel that. I never feel that way
apparently
when I play a game.
apparently this game has like a either secret or true ending you can unlock if you find all of a certain collectible.
Yeah, and I it's funny because like there are certain collectibles that essentially you're able to like 3D print like a thing that a kid would get really excited about on Earth in your central hub area.
Yeah.
And if you look at my central hub, there's four different sections, and it's basically like as you progress through the game, different sections open up. And the first
Yeah.
section's I'm missing half of them. The second one I'm missing half of them. The third one I'm missing like one, and then the last one I have all of them because I was like I want to consume as much of this game as humanly possible because it is so fun and these characters are so endearing and this world is so cool and the different bosses are so awesome, and even the different regular enemy types, there's a lot of variety to them, and I really thought that the puzzle mechanic was going to get old really quickly when I first played it. Like when I played the demo of it, I was like, this feels like it'll get old really quickly. It never did. And I will tell you, I remember when I first saw the trailer for this, the full trailer, because they announced this years ago, but the first full trailer that they announced at the Game Awards last year, I was like, this feels weird and not for me. And I kind of feel weird about it being like a little 8-year-old girl that's on your back. I could not have been more wrong. And I'm so happy to say that I could not have been more wrong. Like I loved this game. You know, it to like the things that
Man,
really just
I had a good feeling about this one from the very first tech demo they showed years ago. I called it then, and I'm glad. I feel so vindicated. Like,
yeah, dude, it really paid off, and it's like, and it's a real testament to Capcom, man. Like they are just throwing fucking heat this year between RE9 and this and the new
yeah.
Monster Hunter game. Like they got other things cooking this
Can
year. Like it's just
can
like
I
they
just
are eating.
can I just say, by the way, I don't know if they're using motion capture for this or not. They probably are because it's Capcom. They usually do, but
Yeah,
the face acting on Diana is so good
yeah,
because, like, sometimes you forget that she's a robot because the genuine, like, curiosity, like the way that, like, she raises her eyebrows at like things that she doesn't fully understand is exactly like a child does. It is
yeah.
exactly like, it is so on point.
Yeah. We talked about during our main topic of today's episode that I have that 0.1% of hope. Things like Diana, like that is what my definition of that 0.1% of hope is of what AI could be. Um, it's just really chill little homies.
And
You
then the
know,
rest of it is the rogue AI that started all this.
that
Like,
started all and is trying to kill you. Yeah, like that's the other 99.9%.
I'm sorry,
You
Hal,
know,
I can't let you do that.
I there are different things that I can be nitpicky on. Like I truly, honestly, this is one of those games. I wish it was longer. I wish there were a couple more worlds in it. I think
Okay.
I think I rolled credits on it after like 13 hours of gameplay. And I just wanted more.
Yeah.
I genuinely I just wanted more. Like that's really the feeling that I had. There are certain clunkiness things from time to time where if two enemies are really close to one another, you know, I'll be clearly pointing at one that's on the right side and it'll pick up the one on the left side instead, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
do a specific thing with one enemy versus the other. And so in that regard it's a little clunky. You know, the other clunky aspect of it, and again, this is just me being like really nitpicky on things, is, you know, the jetpack that you have, like some of the whenever you use it to like fire yourself forward a little bit more in a specific
Mm,
direction, it can be a little wonky at times, where it's like it doesn't point me in the right direction that I'm trying to go. And the loot boxes itself, because there's loot boxes to like get another weapon or whatever it is. It feels like it is. It feels like it's imbalanced. Like it'll give me like a couple specific weapons way more frequently than other things, and I never used the
yeah.
stasis. I never used the stasis net. Like I never used that gun, and good lord, that is like half of the guns I would ever receive, and I'm like, this is just super annoying and kind of
Oh, we definitely
frustrating.
have a
So
different
like,
play style because that has been like that's the
oh,
first
dude,
thing I
I'm
use
glass.
on any
I'm gl-
big enemy.
I barely ever use the green side, dude. I'm a glass cannon. You and I both know that. Like,
Right,
um,
yep. Like always, you're an offensive player and I'm a defensive player.
yep,
Like
yep. That's all it is.
you're about running in guns blazing. I'm all about the strategy. Like,
Oh yeah, like my like extra filament things that you would get, like the little gold pieces or whatever to upgrade your gear or your weapon or Diana. I pretty much like at the end of the game, I think I only had like 4 bars of my actual health. And then everything in I had it almost fully
else
maxed
went
out on my
into your
gun.
weapon damage and all that.
It went into my gun and it went into hacking
Meanwhile,
with
the
Diana.
first thing I upgraded was my health because I was like, even on easy,
Oh,
I'm taking a decent amount of damage here. It's feeling a
yeah.
little soulsy. Let's fix
Well,
that.
you've got like additional nodes that you can put onto your character to give buffs and all of that. And like the one that
Yeah,
I
like
chose is like,
I have a health increase mod installed right
yeah,
now.
there's a node that I got later or a mod that I got later on in the game that I use that you're gonna be like, you're a psychopath, man. Is it immediately gives you half the amount of health permanently,
For
but
what,
you
double
get
damage?
but you get 25% higher damage and you get 25% faster hacking. And I'm like,
Mm.
that's a good trade off for me. I'm here for that trade off. I love it. Let's do it, bro. And like, yeah, I don't know. The only thing I really focused like my resources on upgrading for health was the essentially like your potions, whatever they're called. Um, your whatever your healing thing is, that I did
Oh
up
yeah.
level up as much as I could, so that way essentially as
Well,
soon as I get near
to
death I
carry
would
more of
take one
those,
and it would refill it the whole way.
there's a collectible you got to find in the wild to be able to carry more of those, like
Yeah.
health
Oh,
canisters.
I think I ended with like 7 or 8 health canisters at the end of it.
Oh shit,
um
yeah. I only have room for 2 right now where I'm at. So
yeah, no, I made a point to make sure I got all of them. But yeah, I honestly, like, if I'm gonna give a score on this, I mm, it's either a 9 or a 9.5. It's one of those two.
I figured at least a 9.
Yeah, honestly, I'm sorry, man. I gotta give it a 9.5. I really do. I'm playing, I'm playing Mouse BI for Hire, and all I'm thinking about is doing a new game plus run of Pragmata instead, or I'm playing Crimson Desert, and I'm like, I'd much rather relive that story through Pragmata again. Like,
Fair.
it's really for me personally, it is that good. I love it. Like, the other random complaint I have, and I think this is just a me thing. I don't use Nvidia for my GPU on my PC. I use AMD, and I think Capcom favors Nvidia more than AMD, as most companies do. So the hair
Mm.
texture,
Oh yeah.
it just, for me, like, on it, it just like it would just like stutter quite a fair amount for me, and like they took a lot of pride in the hair texture. But there's like even on PC, there's like a special Nvidia hair thing, so I know that's why they favor it. And so I think it's just because of the GPU that I have. It would periodically just like stutter and look really weird, and I'm like, I've got enough power behind this thing. Like, there's no, I shouldn't have this issue, but I do, and I think that's more of that's an optimization issue, not a gameplay issue. Um,
So, um, give me just a second here.
I'm gonna land at a 9.5. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be at a 9.5 for this one. I genuinely I love that game, and there is a quote from I love listening to Kind of Funny podcast. It's what I listen to whenever I have spare time during work days. Um, And Tim Getty said probably my favorite quote about this game is, he said, I love video games, and Pragmata is the most video game ass video game that is ever video games. Like, there is no other media format that this would make as much sense than in a video game, and it is like it's the definition of a video game to me, is Pragmata, and I loved it. I really did.
Um, so I'm playing the game on OG PS5, and according to um Digital Foundry, let so this game on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X uses AMD's FSR1 spatial upscaler.
Oh, okay.
It was they confirmed it by matching up shots with the PC version using the same tech. Series X and PS5 both run at a native 1080p resolution, whether using frame rate or resolution mode, using FSR1 to upscale to a 4K output.
Mhm.
PS5
I
Pro
use
uses PSSR
Pisser.
with a native 864p resolution upscales though. Um, that's the other thing too, is considering that they're both 1080p upscaled, I just played on performance mode anyways. The difference to me was very minimal, and on resolution mode, it's not like 4K 30 FPS. I mean, like I said, it's upscaled, but it's more like 45 FPS on resolution mode in this game
Yeah.
for some
Okay.
reason. So I was like, with that being the case, I could realistically play on resolution mode, but I'm just gonna play on performance anyways.
Yeah.
And honestly, the difference is negligible at best, especially with HDR on for
Yeah,
for this one.
I will say, and like I played it. It was on AMD FSR 3.1, I think is what it was on.
Okay.
And I played it on that. I played it on quality, and with that, I was getting about 100 frames per second. Sometimes I would tick down to like 70 to 80 if I did something weird. But it was pretty stable throughout the entire thing. It does say that it is Steam Deck verified. I did download it on my Steam Deck. You've got to have it essentially down to poop settings for it to have like a stable like 45 frames per second. It was very ugly to look at, so I was like, I mean, is it playable? Yes. Is it verified enjoyable to me? No. So I'm hoping it's gained a lot of popularity. I hope they optimize it better for it to run better on a Steam Deck. But
It
I've
targets
thoroughly
it
enjoyed it on PC.
it targets 60 FPS across all consoles. The variable refresh rate on PS5 is about 48 to 60, and on Series X it's 40 to 60. So,
Okay.
um, and on the Series S, it's a locked 60 frames with sacrifices to the visuals.
Yeah, makes sense. But it for me again, it's a 9.5, which I don't think I've given a 9.5 since Ghost of Yotei. It's
Apparently, the PS5 Pro is the best console version of the game.
I believe that. I'm just not willing to
Yeah.
shell out 900 fucking dollars for a console that
No, like I said, I'm playing it on the OG PS5, and it looks perfectly passable to me. Like,
yeah, like that's the thing. Like I'm playing Saros on the regular base PS5. It looks great. It's running 60 frames per second. Like it's like I don't need the PS5 Pro, but that's a conversation for another day.
right.
But yeah,
But hey,
those
a
are my
nine point
thoughts.
five is a 9.5 is almost a 10. And it almost feels like you had to CinemaSins level stretch to find things to nitpick to stick to your guns about not giving out tens too much.
Yeah, really, honestly, you're not wrong.
like, uh,
It felt like giving it a 9 was a disservice, and I was like 9.5 is just so high, and I just don't give things 9.5s. Like I think that's like my third game I've given at a
it sounds like
9.5.
honestly, it sounds like if this game was maybe 2 hours longer, you would have given it a 10.
I probably would have if it would have given me and who knows, like we may get DLC or something else that comes alongside with it. I I don't know. But yeah, if they'd given us a couple more biomes to work around in, few new enemy encounters, a couple bosses like between those two, like yeah, it probably would have been a 10 out of 10 for me. But I loved it, man. I loved it. It was so good.
Alrighty. Well, that will bring us to the end of this episode. The this has been episode 85, AI, the good, the bad, and the plagiarism. Thank you all so much for listening. If you're on Spotify, you can leave us a comment. If you're on YouTube, you can leave a comment and smash that like button. We'll be back to doing video in the next episode. I know this one was just audio only, but we will have video next time. And we might even have video for the Requiem spoiler cast too.
Yeah.
But anyways, though, you can also email me at podcastoversoul@gmail.com or find me on the social medias at Oversoul53. Nick is on all the things at the Gaming Fiend one. Brooksy you can find on Instagram and TikTok at Brooksy My Boy. Thank you to Podserve FM for hosting us. The music is from the free YouTube music library. And thank you to Sarah for behind the scenes help and to all of you for listening. And we will catch you in the next one. Good night, everybody.
Later.